The second half, Obi Egekeza, Antonio Lewis, and Vaughn Rivers are deep for the Mountaineers, and we'll have a chance at a return here. Taken at the 5-yard line, it's Rivers. Finds a crease, gets out across the 30-yard line. Run out of bounds by Christian Varner. Well, the Mountaineers feature that big offensive line. A couple of new tackles. Those are the only 2 starters not back from a year ago.
This is a big offensive line and athletic. They love to get up to the second level, which is important tonight, led by Dan Moses, Chris. When you run that zone read from the shotgun with Pat White, it's important for the offensive line to get to those linebackers of Maryland.
They're not big, but they are lean and very quick, and West Virginia will run an up-tempo offense. White, you see him a lot in the shotgun to open this game. Hands off to Slayton. Shows that speed, gets a nice gain of about 9 yards, lost the football. Maryland says they have it. Now an official running in there signaling down. No, it is Maryland football. And they're going to talk about it here, hold everything. There's still a conference from the officials. The Terrapins have run to the sideline.
Chris, huge play obviously early for Maryland on the road as a big underdog.
Early on the field, the player was down.
See, the Terrapins were all excited, but you got to be careful of that conference of the officials. So we'll see if this play is quickly reviewed.
Well, he has a chance here making a big gain, and what happened is Aaron Henderson came from behind, and the impact of the hit potentially knocked that ball out.
There it looked like the ball was coming out as he went down. The up-tempo offense gets it up there. West Virginia ball and 2nd and 1. They give it off to Schmidt, the fullback, and the bruiser bulldozes across the 41, seems to have a first down. This Maryland defense anchored by some linebackers. The name Henderson, familiar at Maryland. EJ is Aaron Henderson's big brother. Wesley Jefferson, the steady middle linebacker. Philistine, a first-year starter.
Well, it's going to be a great challenge here for these linebackers. The no huddle, different degrees of speed as far as the tempo that's created by Pat White. They've tried to prepare for this offense, and now it's right in front of them.
So the Mountaineers dodged disaster in that first snap. Fumble ruled no fumble, and a first down at the 41. Once again, it's Slayton knifing up the middle, showing the quickness of getting to midfield. So often, West Virginia will stretch the field, make you defend every square foot of it, but then run it up the middle.
One of the things that Pat White is instructed to do is look at the safeties. You have 2 safeties that are back deep for Maryland. And when he sees 2 safeties, he will check to the run every single time. He'll look over to Rich Rodriguez for that confirmation. You've got to get your safeties up involved to slow down this running game.
8-yard gain. Slayton well on his way to making Maryland regret their decision to pass on him. And now it's Schmidt picking his way for good yardage down near the 41 of the Terrapins. This is one of the most run-dominant offenses in college football, Kirk. Almost 80% running in the last 6 or so games since White took over as quarterback last year.
Chris Kosh, the defensive coordinator from Maryland here early, is trying to send a message to Rich Rodriguez that, hey, we're not intimidated. We're physical. We can match up front, and we can get you to be able to slow down their running game just with our front 7. Right now, it's not working for the Terps.
And they're running the up-tempo attack. They've got 3 different tempos, all of them fast. This is White keeping, spinning, and a nice job hauling him down. Trey Covington, his sophomore defensive end. Rodriguez, the offensive wizard, discovered by Tommy Bowden, who brought him to Tulane and then Clemson, and then taking over at his alma mater here.
I know Urban Meyer gets a lot of credit, and he's a great offensive coach, but I know that Rich Rodriguez, talking to a lot of coaches around the country, a lot of respect for him. Number of coaches come to visit Rich Rodriguez in the offseason to learn more about his style and up-tempo spread.
First, 2nd, and long for the Mountaineer offense on this opening possession. Little pitch. Slayton makes a man miss, heads down the sidelines, shows the speed, and scores! So they dodged the turnover on the opening play and cap a nice-looking touchdown drive with Steve Slayton, again, spurred by Maryland and making him pay.
Chris, it's all about the tempo of this offense. They come at you in so many different ways, and the speed of which they execute, it makes it very difficult for a defense to be ready, especially on this opening drive.
38 yards on the touchdown run for Slayton. This is the game he's been waiting for, used sparingly in the 2 easy openers. He is ready to shine tonight against the Terps.
Morgantown, West Virginia. College football lives here.
Steve Slayton just got that fresh haircut yesterday.
Looking good.
That's how he meant that to turn out, I think.
I guess.
11 rushing touchdowns for this team already in this season. 69 yards, all of it on the ground. And Marcus Wimbush, who comes in with a tender knee tonight, grasping at air that time, Kirk.
The entire defense grasping for air on their heels. It's back to the drawing board for the Terps defense.
There you see the veteran quarterback for Maryland, Sam Hollenbach, waiting his first chance. Early pressure on that Maryland offense as West Virginia has scored quickly. And a fumble on the kickoff, and West Virginia covers it near the 11-yard line. They're still scrambling for it down there. Can it get any worse for Maryland?
Ralph Friedgen, he could not have asked for a worse way to start this game. A little trickery. Try to get the ball into the hands of his playmakers, Hayward Bay. But I want to go back to this touchdown because 6 plays, 69 yards. Watch the backside. They get so caught up in running and flying down to try to slow down this offense. Next thing you know, look at these guys commit. Watch them commit, and the ball goes out here. And by the time they react, it's like a misdirection play, and the speed of Slayton, the defense can't recover.
After the fumble, right back at it on the 11-yard line of Maryland. Slayton to the top of the screen. The flag flies as he runs right. Careful to string it out. Slayton slips to the turf. Now we'll check the flag. Well, Friedgen tried to get tricky on the kickoff return, trying to make something happen. It backfires. Now he needs a big stop from his defense here. You see it'll be 1st and 15 for the Mountaineers. Ralph
Friedgen has great hopes for this season. Starting the first 3 years, winning 10 games. In the last 2 years, finishing 5-6 and 5-6. And it's kind of an example. Those first 4 games were played in those first 3 years. And, of course, the last 2, Rich Rodriguez has been able to dominate.
Rodriguez turning the tables. Both the games, each of the last 2 years, have been closely contested, won by West Virginia in the 4th quarter. Slayton slips, so Maryland declines that false start penalty. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Slayton to the left to Pat White. Owen Schmidt to the right. And it's a reverse. They pitch it back to Darius Raynaud, who gets inside the 6-yard line. Trey Covington. Nice job on the stop, but you see some of the dimensions of this West Virginia offense, and all these guys can run.
What they make you do is they make you cover the entire field. When you get so caught up in defending the speed of White and Slayton, and defensive coordinators talk about pursuing to the ball, and you can see why. He played 75 yards all on the ground, but you have to be careful on the backside to overcommit, because then they'll check you in the backside.
On 3rd and 5, White's going to throw his first pass wide open. Touchdown, West Virginia. Raynaud. You think they've waited for this showcase game? National TV?
Mountaineers are ready to send a message to the nation here early, and this is, again, the versatility. This is what Pat White and this offense can do. Is he guy can throw the ball. I know he's wide open, but they, again, coming at you in a variety of ways. It puts a lot of pressure on that defensive secondary.
Pat McAfee is 15 of 15 on PATs this season. 2 touchdowns in a minute 32. The second set up on the fumble kickoff. Maryland in big trouble when you come back.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar. Eating good in the neighborhood. Applebee's. And in part by Mercedes-Benz. Located on the web at nbusa.com.
Prominent place in the Mountaineers Hall of Fame for that Sugar Bowl, which was played in the Georgia Bulldogs' backyard in the Georgia Dome. And West Virginia had a start about like we're seeing tonight. They just jumped on Georgia, shook up the college football nation, and had to hang on to win an enormous win for their program and also for the Big East Conference. So far, they're jumping on the ACC's Terrapins here.
Chris, it goes to show you how important those bowl games are at the end of the year and how they can spring you into a lot of momentum and high expectations in the polls that following year.
And the kickoff, one of the up men as they avoid Josh Wilson, who's a dangerous kick return man. Danny Okendo is stopped about the 30-yard line.
Chris, I want you to keep an eye on the action in the backfield by Pat White and Steve Slayton, and how much attention the Maryland defense pays to the guys in the backfield. Look at the three bodies flying up here because of these two. The only problem is, with all that attention being paid to the speed of the backfield, you got to always remember that Pat White can throw the football. So White and Slayton not only hurts you running the ball, but also that time using Slayton as a blocker and a decoy.
And the first snap for Hollenbach in the offense, and they're down 14-zip on the road. Lance Ball running right, fights his way through a tackle and bounces for good yardage on the far sidelines. Antonio Lewis, the corner, wrestling him out. This Maryland offensive line is absolutely huge. Hanos, the tight end, very big shoes to fill. Vernon Davis now with the 49ers, the number 6 draft pick. Hanos goes about 270, and they have 4 300-pounders up front.
If there's any advantage that Maryland has up front, it's the offensive line. They've got to take advantage of that size against a smaller but quicker West Virginia defense.
On 2nd and 5, it's Josh Allen, and as the tailback, and he gets the handoff. Spinning forward for about 4. So this West Virginia defense can't match up in terms of size, but they certainly are speedy. The DBs are all new this year. They play a 3-3-5, kind of an odd stack formation.
Well, they're breaking in a lot of new people. Eric Ricks gives them some experience in the back end. And that's the one question about West Virginia. And we're going to see tonight if Sam Hollenbach, the quarterback from Maryland, can eventually make them pay for that inexperience in the back end. They're going to get a first down first.
They need a yard. Ball behind Big Tim Chaser, the fullback. And he gets the call. Steps to his left. First down yardage up the middle. Nice little move to his left for Ball. He gets up near midfield. Vaughn Rivers and Quentin Andrews in the secondary on the stop, but Maryland does get that important third down conversion and a lot more.
Here's a great example of the size up front and a good read that time by Lance Ball, cutting back and finding a hole. But that was an example of what Ralph Regent has to do. He has to take the air out of the ball. Nice cut there by Lance Ball, but Chris, he has to take the air out of the ball, using Lance Ball to be able to keep the ball away from Pat White.
Ball has good vision, good balance. That's what he's known for. Now he's spared by Josh Allen. He's a short Dan Allen, the senior from Tampa. Played in 04 and then blew out a knee. Really missed all of last season. A talented guy trying to make the most of his final season in college football. Well, we're calling it Separation Saturday, and in prime time on ABC, Zach Taylor leads Nebraska trying to make a statement into Los Angeles. Big Dogs trying to knock off number 4 ranked USC. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. College football lives here. So, 2nd and long. Play action fake to ball. Hollenbach flipping it far side, miscommunication.
Well, that's obviously not what Ralph Regent wants to see here early from his quarterback. He needs to just settle in here. Now they're going to have to try to execute on 3rd and long against an attacking defense from West Virginia. West Virginia, a lot of times when they get to a team 3rd and long, instead of blitzing, they'll drop 8 defenders back, hoping that Hollenbach will have to check down to a back and then just come up and make the tackle. See if it works here for him.
Regent has praised Hollenbach's decision-making. This is his first tough decision, perhaps, of the night. Rolls to his right, late pressure, and just fires it over the bench. So West Virginia got pressure without bringing a lot of people, and Hollenbach has to throw it away. Charles Pugh, the bandit back, was in there.
Well, Chris, that time, Hollenbach doesn't need to leave and get out of there. The offensive line, there's only 4 men rushing. It's easier to be set up here. He got a little bit of pressure from the left. He's got to be able to sit in there, be strong, and find an open receiver and deliver the football.
The senior, Podlesh to punt, and Antonio Lewis. Excellent return for 4.6 speed, back for the Mountaineers. High kick. Lewis lets it bounce as he's supposed to at the 10, but he gets a nice Maryland roll out of bounds at the 3, and Podlesh, very accomplished punter at doing that, downing it deep. Now, with 97 yards of field to defend, can the Terrapins do just that against this speedy backfield?
It's about the first break that's gone in favor of the Terps.
They got a fighting chance, this defense now. Got them backed up. They haven't had many answers so far.
No, it has not been pretty.
Early fireworks as we join Aaron Andrews on the sidelines.
Early fireworks indeed behind Maryland's bench for the defense just before they came out on the field. The theme, guys, this series is the most important one. Forget about the turnover, it's over. Forget about the 2 touchdowns, they're over as well. Take it 1 snap at a time, but they seem to think this is it, Chris.
On this snap, it's White running to his left for a short gain.
Aaron, that's a great point. When you're on the road early with a young team and you're trying to prove to yourselves that you can win, you almost have to weather the storm. This is a 4-quarter game, and as bad as things look right now, they've got to put that behind them and try to win this series for this defense.
To complain about the Maryland defense in the first couple of games, too tentative, playing on eggshells, not trusting their instincts. And
time to turn it loose, my friend.
All right, coach him up. On 2nd and 6, White flips it near side to Raynaud, who caught the touchdown pass, and he gets up near the 20 and first down yardage. So much for pinning him deep. And the junior out of Louisiana. You'll see him a lot on screens and those inside slot routes.
Chris, really, I feel Darius Raynaud gives them that look, but I love how the receivers block downfield, and because the ball was thrown behind the line of scrimmage, you had some receivers downfield picking up some big blocks and giving Raynaud some nice room to pick up a first down.
Gosh, in his first year as defensive coordinator, last couple of years at Kansas State. This time White fires out in the flank, caught again. A missed tackle as Raynaud is a nightmare for this Terrapin defense right now. Here's a guy, Kirk, 41 inch vertical, by far the best on the team, squats 695.
Well, he would be a running back on any other offense. But again, I want to talk about the receivers and how they take so much pride in their blocking. Rayshawn Bolden that time, the senior, coming off the sideline. You would have thought he made the catch and picked up the big gain. Everybody takes so much pride in their blocking with this group of receivers.
2nd and 2. In the slot on the near side, you see Raynaud. Slayton to the right of White, and Schmidt, the big halfback slash fullback, who pulls ahead for another first down at the 33. Owen Schmidt, an interesting guy. He also, as Aaron mentioned, sent tapes to Maryland, hoping for some interest. He was Wisconsin River Falls. The guy came from Virginia. They didn't have a lot of interest in this guy. He walked on here. Walked on is important to Rodriguez. Said, be patient. He ripped up the scout team, gave him a scholarship the following spring.
He's given 24 players scholarships in the last 4 years, former walk-ons. He encourages that, and here's Pat White again checking at the line.
Steps back, fires downfield over the head of Raynaud, who gets hit after the incompletion. Christian Varner there on the coverage.
Ball's incomplete. Number 3, Christian Varner, defended on the play.
I think the Mounties like playing on Thursday night. I think they get a little bit excited. This stadium comes alive. Off to a great start here. Incompletion. You'd think most teams get back into the huddle. Pat White and the Mountaineers back to the line and attacking again now on 2nd down.
Rare first down throw. High formation, handed off to Slayton. Little delay, picks his way in the left side and picks up about 3 or 4. Varner and the linebacker Aaron Henderson there on the stop.
3, Christian Varner.
Christian Varner in no man's land, in space, trying to tackle one of the more talented tailbacks with the most speed in the country, and Steve Slayton held his own, did a nice job, and allowed the rest of the defense to come over and force West Virginia now to a 3rd down.
Fighting chance for caution the defense on 3rd and 7. Maryland showing 3 down linemen, and White making an adjustment to the play. They bring the pressure. They pick it up. White fires complete across the middle. 1st down near midfield. Brandon Miles with his first catch of the night. Fastest wide receiver.
Because of the way they cross the action, the linebackers have to be very aware of the running backs. And when they cleared out with the running backs, it left a huge void right into the middle of the defense, and an easy throw there on 3rd down for Pat White to Brandon Miles.
The lefty knows the runner, but he shows the arm right there.
Hey,
dart, right?
Pat White has a strong arm. It's just a matter of the receivers developing and giving them the balance that they're looking for to go along with this powerful running game.
White 4 for 5. 37 yards and a touchdown in the early going. This a more familiar role for him in his offense, carrying for a short game. Wesley Jefferson forms the core of the defense. The middle backer there on the stop.
Wesley Jefferson, Aaron Henderson, David Holloway. You've got some players who can make plays, but right now, because they're on their heels, they're not able to be aggressive. Somebody from the Terrapin defense has to step up here, Chris, and try to change the momentum of this game with a big play.
4 receivers, 3 to the top of the screen on 2nd and 10. White keeps it. Has a big crease. Darts inside the 40 of Maryland. It's not fair. So many options and so much speed.
Well, they can come and you again, Chris, in so many different ways. That's the classic zone read that Pat White reads so well, reading the backside in. If he commits down, which he does, look at it's no man's land. When you have a defensive end like Navarre who chased Slayton, you have a quarterback there who pulls the ball out and makes a big play.
And no breather for this defense. They call this the Indy up-tempo, and right back at it is Slayton. Trying to turn the corner, he does. Slayton to the end zone. Kirky was born with the speed. He had to learn patience.
Chris, he has got to be, if not the fastest player in college football. He's right up there. Right here, he picks up great blocks, stays in bounds, and scores another touchdown for West Virginia. He's off to a pretty good start here in the 1st quarter.
Yeah, he's 5 yards short of 100 rushing, a couple of touchdowns. And this is an ambush in Morgantown.
You think all this hype about him taking this Maryland hype of reneging on their scholarship offer, he must have been serious about that.
Pretty good start for this dynamic duo. We'll check out a few of history's other dynamic duos when we come back. Busy start for the band in Morgantown. Horn section blowing hard, and West Virginia right now blowing out Maryland. Terrapins have barely had the football, Kirk. A 21-zip hole, and you got to believe that defensively their heads are spinning because of the speed of these guys.
I just saw a sign there that said Heisman hopeful. Steve Slayton, with the team that he is playing on this year and the numbers that he will put up this year, without a doubt, he stays healthy. He may be joining you, Chris, and I, and LC Lee Corso in New York City for that Heisman ceremony.
He's a sophomore, and again, this is his game to shine. 2 blowout wins. Slayton used sparingly, tweaked an ankle, came out of the game because he wanted to be ready for this game tonight. He looks fairly ready. Ball taken by Nolan Carroll from Maryland, one of the upbacks. Wrestled down about the 30-yard line. Little urgency for this Terrapin offense at this point.
Yeah, a little bit. And Rich Rodriguez told me something I thought was interesting. He said, when you defend us, you have to defend the front side and the back side. This is not designed, but it gives you an indication of how you better be alert and ready on the back side because of the vision and the cutback ability of Steve Slayton. He will always make you aware of his presence. And EA, I know he's excited about this game tonight.
He certainly isn't. In talking to him today, Herbie, I said, how are you dealing with all the pressure from last season? And he said, that was was the biggest thing during the offseason. I wanted to add to it. I wanted to build on it because people are expecting me to outdo myself. He added an extra 10 pounds, guys. He feels like he's reading coverages a lot better. He even added a new little spin move, boys.
Well, a positive play for Maryland. Nope, it's out of bounds as Darius Hayward-Bay. Hollenbach took a deep shot. He's pleading his case to the official, but ruled incomplete.
Yep.
Take another look.
Number 8.
Hayward-Bay is their big
Hayward-Bay.
play threat. They need him to step up in a hostile setting. His first real test as a game. Pretty good throw, unable to get that right foot down.
No, the right foot stepped out of bounds. He actually got away with a little push off there. Offensive pass interference. What do you say if you're Rich Rodriguez? Now, come on now, fellas. This is serious. We got to do better than this. What can you say?
Say it's a nice
keep
big
doing
stats.
it.
Big stats, fellas.
Keep going.
Second and 10. They bring pressure with 5. Hollenbach flips it over the middle. Caught by Okendo. Okendo, nice effort, dragging a tackler to midfield.
Danny Okendo.
John Holmes on the tackle.
Tackle made by number 1, Johnny Holmes.
Okendo, one of those very inexperienced receivers on this team.
Well, that's the thing when you get down by 21 and you look at the total yards and the way Maryland is just struggling to get a hold of the football, but you get down 21 and the strength of your team is the offensive line, the running backs and running the ball. Now you have to rely on the inexperience, which is the wide receivers and Hollenbach executing the pass game.
Cajun forced to change the game plan early. Play action fake. Hollenbach steps up. The ball hit as he throws. A diving interception attempt. It is Mountaineer football. And the nightmare continues for Fridge. Eric Works pressured Hollenbach, and the middle linebacker, the senior Jay Henry, the academic All-American, well positioned for the interception.
See that time that Ralph Friedgen on the road down by 21 already in the first quarter has a young offense and a quarterback that he's trying to get to believe in himself and kind of patted him on the back and said hang in there, and now he's talking to Josh Allen, who's a veteran, talking to him about his responsibilities in pass protection.
How do you think the Maryland defense is feeling right now? There goes Slayton again, and Slayton off and running again. Gets a block, gets the corner. Run out of bounds at the 1.
Slayton, the ball carrier. Tackled by number 4, Josh Wilkins.
You know, I think it might be the Thursday night package where we go. We see great backs. Last week, Ian Johnson of Boise State. And I don't know if it's going to get much better than Steve Slayton. I think we should just keep cutting to that Heisman hopeful after every carry. This guy's putting on a clinic here in the first quarter. Boy, is he pretty in the open field.
I don't know if Maryland paid for this clinic, but they're not enjoying it. First and goal, and a whistle blows as a timeout is taken by the Maryland defense.
Catch their breath.
They can catch their breath, but they're not going to catch Slayton.
No.
You can see that right now. It's whatever stats he wants to accumulate tonight, he's going to get. If he wants to launch that Heisman campaign, which, by the way, is about the last thing on his mind, he can name his number tonight.
Well, he's off to a decent start, 21-yard average, a couple scores. I mean, what do you say? What do you say? Look at the way the hole opens up. I mean, it's the offensive line. I mean, he's a great back. He's one of the best backs in the country, Chris. But the scheme and the offensive line and the receivers blocking, when you get Steve Slayton into the open field, he's as dangerous a back as there is. And right now, they are executing so well that it's allowing him to just have that open space. And that's exactly what Rich Rodriguez wants. Trying to regroup here with Ralph Friedgen and the defensive staff.
He's an offensive guy, but there's an emergency focus over there.
Yeah.
I mean, is West Virginia this good, or is Maryland in trouble this year?
I think West Virginia is legitimate. I mean, I think they are where they have improved from last year's game in the Sugar Bowl against Georgia is the confidence. The confidence of this team has gotten to a whole different level. And I also think they're more balanced on offense. Everybody wants to be critical of, boy, Pat White can't throw, or he can't throw the ball. I'm sitting there thinking, why does he have to throw? Until somebody comes into this game against West Virginia, and can stop them from running the football. You know it's coming, but you can't stop it. Until somebody can, why do they have to throw?
I don't think they'll throw down here on first and goal. Schmidt, fullback, in the I formation in front of Slayton, and why not hand it to the sophomore? Fumbles the football into the end zone. A scramble. Everything going right for the Mountaineers. A tight end, Brad Palmer, covering the football. One of those nights.
So I hear the weekend coming up's a big weekend of college football. We'll get into some of that. You're right, another fumble and another situation where West Virginia's in the right place at the right time. That time the tight end Palmer jumps on it.
And a sweet touchdown for Palmer. He's a Maryland guy. Oakland, Maryland, a senior. Been a part of victories over the Terrapins the last couple of years.
On the field, the fumble into the end zone, recovered by the offense for a touchdown.
Okay, now these ACC officials, by the way, here in Morgantown, will visit with the replay official upstairs as they review the touchdown call. First thing Slayton's done wrong all night.
Might be ordering a pizza for after the game.
As they show Friedgen.
Not happy. You got to wonder if they're checking to see if the ball was fumbled forward from outside of the end zone, because he had possession of the football once he got in.
Well, I think maybe the player Palmer was sliding toward the end line. They wanted to see if he had possession maybe before he touched that out of bounds line.
Yeah, I think he has possession of the football. Ball comes out, and then he jumps on top of it. He's definitely on the ball before he gets to the line.
Officials in the back of the end zone looked at each other and confirmed the call of touchdown.
After review, video confirms the play on the field. The play stands is called touchdown.
Okay, well, we got the explanation. Touchdown. Palmer had control of the football. Slayton won't be happy about that, but the result of the drive, he had another touchdown.
May force him to stay in a little bit longer.
Pat McAfee can practice his PAT kicking tonight. Just about 14 minutes into this football game, 28 on the board for the Mountaineers, Aaron.
That's right, Chris. Well, remember at the beginning of the show, we talked about Steve Slayton growing up, wanting to play for Maryland. He's got a little bit of extra motivation. His best friend, Pat White, and his quarterback, they both explain about that extra motivation. Here you go.
They, I guess, took his scholarship away. He was wanting to go there, and they ain't want him. I guess he had something to prove.
Everything happens for a reason, and I feel I'm in a better place because of that. So I really don't hold too much of a grudge against them. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
Little bit.
That's good stuff. Those guys are such close friends. You got White, the Southerner, Slayton, the Northerner, but they said they feel like brothers, very similar backgrounds growing up, and White knows what this game means to Slayton. You can say one thing for the cameras, but it's obvious inside he's been burning for this chance.
He's got 149 yards. We're not even through the first quarter and a couple scores. And, I don't even know. I mean, I think he's excited to play against Maryland, but I got to be honest with you. I don't think it's going to matter who he plays against. I think you're going to see this kind of execution and this kind of performance from him. He's a legitimate back, one of the best backs in the nation. He's a part of an offense that's going to score a lot of points. And he and Pat White form a unbelievable 1-2 punch for Rich Rodriguez.
Well, the next two defenses that will get a swing at slowing down this Mountaineer offense, East Carolina and Mississippi State, two road games. McAfee, the line drive kickoff. It gets past Josh Wilson and rolls out of the end zone.
Kickoff goes out of the back of the end zone.
Any ideas? Coach him up, Kirk. What do they got to do?
Well, they need to recruit some faster players. It's the only way that you can stop Pat White and Steve Slayton. I asked Rich Rodriguez about how do you stop this offense? And he said, if we run into a team that can be physical and that can run with us and tackle in space, that's the kind of team that can give you fits against this spread, this power spread offense of West Virginia. The problem is not very many people have those kind of players.
Well, the game plan now thoroughly adjusted, you'd think, as they run the option and Hollaback a nice little pitch and good running room. That's a wrinkle for the Maryland offense. He steps out of bounds as Quentin Andrews forces him out at the 41-yard line. Nice job by Okendo.
If you're Ralph Friedgen right now, you're saying, guys, don't forget the Sugar Bowl. They're up 28-0 against Georgia. Went to sleep, let Georgia get back into the game. We'll see if Maryland can rally around that.
That was in the Georgia Dome against the Georgia
Bulldogs.
Yeah.
The Dogs. So we'll see. For the viewers there, this thing's not even close to being over.
It's a great showcase for a football team that may be underrated at number 5.
21.
Lattimore picks his way for a short gain. Lewis and Mark Magro, the backup middle backer, on the stop.
What a great young man, Steve Slayton. Humble, he and Pat White. Rich Rodriguez says they haven't changed one bit from last year to this year. They're still hungry. That's the greatest thing to see.
Maybe that's his running pattern. That's his running pattern on his hair. Zigging and zagging.
It's the last run that he had where he cut back for a touchdown.
He was telestrating on his head there.
Well, look at this. Look at West Virginia sprint to the other end. I think they're pretty excited about what's happening right now. They're already down there ready to go.
Now we'll see if the Terrapins can match their enthusiasm. What a showcase for the Mountaineers. 28-0 after 1. It's a laugher in Morgantown. West Virginia's run 21 plays and scored 28 points. And the folks who drove the 210 miles to the Maryland campus in College Park, bumming early on. The offense, Ralph Friedgen has the ball, 2nd and 8.
A lot of football to be played. Hang in there. They got to get on the board here.
That would be a nice start. Then they got to go back on defense.
Come on.
Handed up inside, trying to pick his way is Keon Lattimore. Good effort as Lattimore fighting his way through tackles, but all that effort for just about a yard will set up 3rd and long. Reese Davis for a 30 and 30 update.
All right, Chris, Tiger Woods' 5 tournament winning streak, the longest of his career, over. Sean McKeel takes him out at the World Match Play, 4-3. The match is Tiger's worst beating ever in match play. Baseball, the pennant races, Padres won. They beat the Reds. Dodgers lost to the Cubs. Pods down to the Dodgers by a half game in the West, up in the wild card by 2. Pods and Dodgers start a 4-game series tomorrow. Sports Center after the game, ESPN News always, and keep mobile ESPN with you too.
That Tiger, he's lost it.
Oh, yeah.
Win the event. Antonio Lewis for West Virginia. Involved in a fracas to the right of your screen, offsetting personal fouls. So Lewis try to calm him down, and the Terrapins still have a 3rd and 7.
Got 2 seconds on a play clock.
Just off in time, Hollaback flips it back near side for Ball. Ball spun around and stopped short of the 1st down marker. Do you go for it?
Oh, absolutely. Have to. What do you have to lose at this point?
Vaughn Rivers there to force player out of bounds, and Ball saw the marker, just didn't really fight forward, kind of spun to the side, came about a yard short. Hollaback, the quarterback, still on the field.
Like I said, Chris, you just mentioned the defense has to come back out in the field to try to stop Steve Slayton. You're down 28. I know you're at midfield, but gosh, you got to go for it here, of course.
You got the huge offensive line. Okendo almost slips as he came back in motion. The handoff, a flag is down as Lattimore gets the 1st down. And we'll check the marker. It's on West Virginia. Lattimore had gotten first 10 yardage anyway.
Dykes lined up offside there.
Offside. Number 96, blue. 5 yards. First down.
Well, Separation Saturday includes Bowden Bowl 8. Tommy, after that heartbreaker against Boston College, trying to bounce back against Danny's team from Florida State, trying to remain undefeated. They're going to find some offense, the Noles?
Well, they're going to have a chance against a banged-up Clemson defense. I talked to Tommy Bowden this afternoon about that game, and their offense might have to try to keep Florida State's offense on the sideline. They are really banged up.
ESPN High Def, 7:45 Eastern Time on Saturday. Hollenbach throws far side deep, has a man beat just off the fingertips of the intended receiver, Isaiah Williams. Speedy sophomore.
I know it's 28-0, but what I'm seeing right now is if it's Maryland or anybody else, the way teams are going to try to attack West Virginia, they're going to attack that inexperienced secondary. If he puts a little bit more air underneath that, Isaiah Williams runs right underneath it. And it's, Antonio Lewis, Larry Williams on the other side, Vaughn Rivers, these guys are inexperienced corners. And Hollenbach's going to continue to test him to try to get back into this game.
Lewis is their fastest corner. He runs a 4.46. That a catch that needed to be made if you're down by 28. Lattimore straight ahead for a short gain. Set up 3rd and long. All these receivers very young, a couple of sophomores and a freshman. Drew Weatherly, the senior, had surgery this week. Stress fracture in his foot. He's going to be back, they say, perhaps with a Boston College game. In the meantime, a bunch of young guys trying to grow up very quickly for Maryland on the edge.
3rd down here. The big tight end, number 80, Joey Hay, notices a tight end that he can get the ball to here for a first down. Keep an eye on him, see if they try to get him the ball.
Hollenbach looks over the middle all the way. Caught, made first down at the 30. And it's Williams, who just ran the deep route, able to curl underneath for 13.
I think West Virginia, Jeff Castillo, their defensive coordinator, thinking the same thing I was thinking. Tight end drags underneath, and as he clears underneath, he takes 2 defenders with him from West Virginia. And again, very similar to the way West Virginia was able to throw. The 2 defenders go with the tight end. Look at that nice big pocket in the back end. And give Hollenbach credit that time. Stepped and made a nice throw.
Tight end, a big part of Friedgen's offense. Of course, Vernon Davis last year got 51 balls. Lattimore getting most of the work tonight, and he is shoved out of bounds. Good job by John Holmes, the safety, and now flags fly after the tackle. We said this was a feisty border rivalry.
Well, see, Maryland needs to chill out here. They've got 15 yards because of the late hit. They don't need to retaliate and make this offsetting. Relax, get back into the huddle, and cool down. Rich Rodriguez, that's the last thing that he wants to see. This is Maryland's best drive to date. And now you're going to give them 15 yards for a late hit on a play that you stopped for about a 2-yard loss.
After the play, personal foul. Number 1, defense, unnecessary roughness. 15 yards from the succeeding spot. Automatic first down.
It was Holmes who made that stop, and they committed the penalty.
Well, John Holmes made the stop, but I'm going to tell you, the linebacker, Matt Magro, comes in right here, 53, boom, with the late hit, and what? When it's a double team. 53, and then John Holmes gives him the whiplash throwdown, WWF style.
Yeah, and then big Jared Gaither from Maryland, the tackle, started shoving guys, too. You're right, last thing Maryland needed was retaliation.
That shows the inexperience. You're up by 28. It's the last thing you can do. Now the Terps are all the way down inside the 20. So a play that should have been 2nd and 12, now it's 1st and 10 inside the 20-yard line.
We talked about the personal motivations, the common recruiting turf. There's not a lot of love between these teams, and there hasn't been back to the days when Rodriguez and Friedgen were playing. Nice job following the blockers by Lattimore, who shoves forward about the 11-yard line. So that big offensive line finally getting a chance to mash some people.
Well, the two tight ends for Maryland, rather, 6'7", 265, and 6'6", 265. two big tight ends and a big offensive line. That time they pull a guard and a tight end and open things up rather nicely. And I'll tell you what, Keon Lattimore's running with a little bit of an attitude right now, starting to find some confidence in his running style.
Physical north-south runner. Picks up 8 there. Hops to his left. This time the run pluggers of that Mountaineer defense do a good job. Lattimore fighting near the first down marker at the 9. Where they're spotting it, doesn't look like he'll have the first down.
Looks like he's going to be a little bit short. If they have a sneak here or they end up getting this first down, they're going to come out with a check to see if he picked it up for the measurement. But Chris, when Ralph Region was in his heyday as an offensive coordinator and a play caller, this is where he would go play. On 1st and 10, he'd come back with play action pass. He would go against a trend instead of trying to keep banging it in there because that's been successful. They're going to be a little short. He'll get the first down here, then he'd come back, get him the defense flying in to stop the success of the running game, and then he'd pull it out and find a tight end for a touchdown.
Well, figuring this is 2-down territory, does he gamble a bit here?
Yeah, maybe he takes a shot, but I think because they're down 28, you just pick up the first down and then come back on 1st and 10 and get aggressive.
Lance Ball, the tailback. Chase it in motion. Ball gets it left side, stacked up short. Johnny Dingle, the junior from Miami, a guy that they said needs to step up and have a big game, a talented guy, joined by Eric Wicks on the stop.
Well, that time you had Kesa just missed with his block on the outside. It made it pretty easy for West Virginia, but outstanding penetration that time down inside by Dingle. But the entire defense that time surrounding the football, bringing up a 4th and 1.
Quickness beats size on that play. We call this crucial. Ball is the deep back. Chase it in motion, and Ball gets it. And slices to the left for a 1st and a goal. Corey Jackson, the true freshman from here in Morgantown, Mountaineer country, went to Maryland, made a nice block there.
You've got 11 blue jerseys right now with one thing in mind, and that's to get low and attack the line of scrimmage. Great top call right now is to pull it out. You've got a quarterback who's athletic enough to be able to pull this off and try to find somebody into the end zone for a touchdown. Don't wait till 3rd down.
13th play of the drive, just one wide receiver. It's Ball. Nowhere to run. Filling was Mark Magro, and on the bottom of the pile, big Pat Liebig, the junior nose tackle.
Again, Chris, the blue jerseys not respecting the passing game at all because, let's face it, outside of the 15-yard penalty, there's been a lot of success with Maryland running the football with Ball and Lattimore, the kind of that tandem. Maybe here on 2nd down,
two sides, but just one wide receiver in the pattern here for Hollenbach. The play action, flip it over the middle for the tight end, broke it up. They were looking for Hanos to the back of the end zone, and Antonio Lewis, who's been active tonight, got a hand on.
That's the play. That's exactly what you'd like to see. I thought Ralph Region might go to that on 1st and 10. The windows against this athletic defense, it's quick. It happens very fast. He threw the ball just a hair late. He throws that as soon as he hits his 5th step off of the play action fake. It's a touchdown.
Tight end set back in a slot now, and 3rd and goal. Hollenbach flips it open, has a man wide open, and it's Hanos for a touchdown. No, so Rodriguez doesn't have the market cornered on little tricky formations. Good job, Hanos. The man you figure Rodriguez's defense would be looking for was wide open.
And a nice job of just getting the ball off by Hollenbach because John Holmes, who lined up on the other side of the tight end, actually came on a blitz. Hanos looks over his left shoulder expecting the football, and Hollenbach put it right there.
Methodical, 15 play, 80-yard drive for Maryland, chewing up 6:39. Dan Ennis knocks through the conversion. And now the matter of defending West Virginia's speed. It's still 28-7, early second quarter. When we come back, we'll take a look at the emphasis on speed here at this West Virginia program.
Speed kills. College football. You'll see it.
Morgantown's alive tonight. Steve Slayton and the Mountaineers, 4 touchdowns, 3 long drives and 1 short one set up by a Maryland fumble. And the kickoff following the first score. They're having fun here. It's going to be a fun season for these folks, huh?
I would think so.
Now, they do have to go on the road for 2 other Thursday night tests. So we'll talk more about the big showdown in Louisville later on the arch rivalry with Pittsburgh at the end of the season. Ogekeze just nubs a short kickoff. Kind of a scrum at the 35-yard line. Let's get an Aaron Mabor on this Mountaineer speed.
How about this, guys? These Mountaineers feel the need for speed, literally. I mean, they take pride in all this tempo. Herbie, you've been talking about it all night. Here's an average of 40 times by positions. You guys were talking about the tempo on the offense. We saw it on the defense. West Virginia takes pride in nobody outworks us. Some of the coaches were telling me, Coach Rodriguez, he loves developing the athlete. He loves getting the maximum potential out of these guys, and you can see it all over the field tonight, boys.
Yeah, Maryland's getting an up-close and personal look at it, Aaron. The defense back on the field, haven't come close to stopping the Mountaineers yet. And there's Slayton again. Slayton knifing through. Bounces to his right, rips off a gain of about 16 across midfield. I mean, the combination of speed, along with a very difficult formation. Officials talking about a flag that came at the end of the run.
Personal foul, number 3, defense, 15 yards, first down.
That's Christian Barner flagged as the frustration continues on the Maryland side.
Outside zone here by West Virginia. I want you to watch the parallel steps by Steve Slayton. The reason that's important is it creates patience by the back, but it also allows the offensive line to get up to the second level of the linebackers. Patience by getting parallel allows the linemen to get up to the linebackers and creates that huge void in the defense. Steve Slayton does that as well as any back in the country. Great patience by number 10.
So Maryland needing a stop has the short kickoff, 1 run, a personal foul, and right away West Virginia's on the 35-yard line, and Slayton gets the handoff from a different kind of formation. That time they stuff him. David Holloway on the stop.
Tackle by 54, David Holloway.
One of the things Maryland's going to have to do is put 8 people up to the line of scrimmage and force Pat White to throw the ball. I know that what's so great about this offense is they can run and they can throw because of the ability of the quarterback. And Steve Slayton trying to chase K.J. Harris going back to 2004 against East Carolina. If they keep him in, he may surpass that. But that balance, Chris, keeps the defense back and allows them to continue to run the ball.
This time they pitch it out, and it's Owen Schmidt, the big physical runner. A flag is down near where the receiver Renaud was throwing a block. Philistine on the stop. Hold?
It looked like a hold by Renaud. Let's see. Face mask.
Well, pointing the other way. The officials signaled against Maryland.
Personal foul, face mask, 34 defense, 15 yards, automatic, first down.
So the second personal foul against Friedgen's team on this drive, that one against Dave Philistine, will march the football to the 16-yard line.
The reason I thought it was a hold is the reaction from the body of Renaud. He kind of came back, and I thought when he came back from being hit, it looked like he grabbed onto the jersey of Philistine, but it was the reason he was holding on there is he got drilled in the face. And here comes West Virginia. By the way, it's kind of quick when West Virginia moves down the field. A little different than what we've seen from Maryland.
4 receivers. Slayton hammers the left side. Dre Moore, the nose tackle, got out there.
You hear spread offense all the time. And you hear the term zone read all the time from different teams and watching them. What separates this spread is how powerful they can be because of not only Schmidt, the big fullback, but this running style of the backs and the linemen and how they come downhill right at you. They attack you as an offense.
We've been attacking all night. This time, Slayton gets it, runs right, and they've begun to key in on the sophomore at this point. Doesn't mean they can stop him, but they're keying in on him.
Get to sonar on number 10. You want to keep an eye on 10. But Chris, when I say they attack, I mean they are able to do some things in the way they come downhill, and it's a philosophy that Rich Rodriguez believes in. They're off to a pretty good start here.
Yeah.
How about 10 plays from your own 4-yard line? Lightning quick getting downfield. Here's one of the few third downs we've seen them have to try to execute on.
The third time they've been forced into third down tonight. White's got it. Shows his speed, gets around the corner, and he stepped out of bounds. And he gets clocked at the 5. That's near the first down mark. They're going to spot it back at the 12 where he's put at the sideline.
He got clocked, but he also delivered it. He stepped out of bounds, and Isaiah Gardner, who's a corner that's trying to feel his way through, watch what it feels like. Pat White's undersized, right? You're going to knock him out, right? I think Isaiah Gardner, that's he felt that when Pat White builds up some speed, he can lower the boom, but at least they stopped him from scoring a touchdown.
So McAfee on for a 29-yard field goal attempt. It is a bit of a victory, isn't it?
Woo.
The sophomore who kicked last year as a true freshman, pretty reliable, knocks it through. So they don't find the end zone. A mere 3 points for this Mountaineer offense. 31-7.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Nissan, proud presenter of the 2006 Heisman, and the new Ultimate Cheese Snacker from KFC. Your dollar goes further at KFC.
Well, 5 possessions, 5 scores for West Virginia. Most recently a field goal, 31-7 for this team in its primetime showcase, trying to show the nation they deserve that ranking. They deserve to be in the conversation of national championship contenders, especially given their schedule. Let's be honest, a lot of people have them ranked highly, Kirk, because the schedule is not as tough as the other contenders. But the Mountaineers showing tonight, they're not ready for anybody. This is Josh Wilson choosing to bring it out of his own end zone and picking his way across the 20. Wilson and he fumbled the football. Fumbled the football. The second time Maryland's fumbled a kickoff. West Virginia ball to 31. Slayton back to work. Wow. Akeem Jackson for West Virginia forced the fumble. Josh Wilson, a very strong special teams player usually, but it's been a nightmare tonight.
It's been a nightmare, and he decided to bring the ball out where he was about 8 to 10 yards deep in the end zone trying to make something happen. And trying to make something happen on a night like this is probably not the best idea. He gave a great effort.
Something happened there, huh?
Yeah, something did happen. A third turnover for the Terps. I mean, he made a pretty good play out of it. He just, that extra effort that he gave left himself vulnerable to a hit. And Mountaineers jarred it loose and recovered it.
The second time is short field for White and company. Schmidt hit pretty well. Short gain. So Maryland beginning to finally make some plays on defense here. Aaron Henderson on the stop, but this has been a blitz for the Mountaineers on their home field. A good border rivalry with Maryland. They've beaten them the last couple of years, but each of those games were 4-quarter fights. Finally, West Virginia wearing down the Terrapins in the fourth quarter. This, they came out and put them on the ropes in the opening minutes.
See how Chris, Maryland starting to get their safeties right here, starting to walk them up, trying to overload at the line of scrimmage.
It's a reverse, and Raynaud has it. A flag flies as he's wrestled down to the line of scrimmage. Nice job by Trey Covington. One of the few bright spots in this Maryland defense tonight. The sophomore wrestles him down, and a flag now near the tackle, so a pair of markers to check. There was a flag during the run and then after the run. Both of them on West Virginia. No feisty now.
Yeah, it is getting a little feisty, but I think take the dead ball because they didn't pick up very many yards. You're going to take the dead ball to push them back. Probably decline that holding call.
2 fouls on the offense. Holding number 55. Foul will be accepted. 10 yards from the previous spot. Also after the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 5 on the offense. 15 yards from the succeeding spot. Still second down.
That's Pat White, the quarterback they flagged, usually pretty cool-headed.
Pat White getting involved in the reverse, middle of the field. A little bit of a holding call. They actually called right there. And then you see Pat White try to pick up a block going downfield. He goes out of your screen. He keeps working the defensive back. Yeah, he's going into the sideline. Because they stopped the play, it would have been third down if they didn't accept the holding call. But they accepted the holding call to give them another chance. 5, Pat White, still driving, still pushing.
Yeah, you got to call that. Christian Varner, the DB, got shoved way out of bounds.
Think you got to call that?
Well, when it's the quarterback doing it.
What?
Quarterback can't be
Pat White's trying
like
to get some points from his boys when they watch film.
He just wanted to hit somebody. It's a rare chance.
I love that. Keep doing that, Pat White.
2nd and 34 now. Mountaineers
give them a shot. They got a shot here with 10. You never know.
They flip it out near side. Nice job of fingertip grab, but a short gain.
Reason I said I thought they declined the holding call is now this would be 4th down and a chance to get the ball back. Now more clock has a chance to go down and less time for Sam Hollenbach to get a chance to move the offense down the field.
Raynaud now has 5 catches already, and it will be 3rd and really long. Well, it's hard to yell at Pat White, but this will certainly annoy Rodriguez. A great chance to tack on more points, and the offense has messed it up with penalties unless they can convert on 3rd and 31. I wouldn't put it past him.
That's what I said. This night, you never know.
Well, nowhere to run for White, and was wrestled down. He took off quickly, but ran right into traffic, and Dre Moore, 312-pounder, wrapped him up.
Good coverage downfield. Able to get pressure just by rushing 4. 3rd and a mile. You'd hope they'd be able to get in there. As good as West Virginia's offense is, I don't know if they have a designed route for, what was that, 3rd and 34?
You know what, though? Maryland's defense against Middle Tennessee State gave up some 3rd and very long conversions in that game. So it's possible. But this time, the first action of the evening for Scott Kozlowski, the Mountaineer punter, a first-year punter. Varner is back deep. And this little directional punt on the bounce. Danny Okendo will retrieve it inside the 15. Tripped up at the 25. Aaron Mextra, nice job covering the punt. So, a little self-destruction from West Virginia, and Maryland gets the football back with some time before halftime. They cut into the lead.
Side make the play. Come from the backside.
A little coaching up on that Maryland sideline.
He's the star.
Under Armour advantage.
That coach is the star of the Under Armour commercials. All over the place. Fired up. Pretty good advantage with Steve Slayton. 12 touches, 167 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Not even to halftime. So
those guys are telling the coach, you go out there and stop, coach.
All right, Terps, see what they can do here for the halftime break.
Clock inside 3 minutes. Early pressure on Hollenbach, who sidesteps and throws deep, overthrows. Let's go to Reese Davis for a preview of halftime. Reese.
All right, Chris, coming up on the Pontiac Performance Halftime Report, Separation Saturday is looming. Mark and Lou will make their picks with a bevy of big games. We'll also chat with Bill Callahan, Nebraska getting set to take on USC, as you guys well know. And we'll also have the Pontiac game-changing performance of the week. See you in a bit.
Chance for Callahan's program to make a statement. Big dogs against the Trojans in the Coliseum.
Can we add Steve Slayton's performance tonight as one of the Pontiac game-changing performances?
Sure.
Looking pretty good.
On the reverse, it's Darius Hayward. Bay fools no one. Antonio Lewis, the corner, stayed at home and dropped him for a loss.
Great play by Lewis that time. Chris, you said staying home, but also getting underneath the blocks and being in great position that time for the Mountaineer defense.
Yeah, they tried to get the tackle out there. Excuse me, tried to get the tackle up there to block him. He was much too quick.
Too quick for hire. And if they had any hopes of trying to get some points here before halftime, now they've got to try to get it done on 3rd down and long.
Now they're looking at West Virginia getting the ball again before halftime if they don't convert this 3rd and 14. Hollenbach again throwing deep for Hayward Bay. And a flag comes out late. Charles Pugh, the bandit back, was there on the coverage. And Vaughn Rivers got him.
It's going to be a call for the push in the back, but I don't think the ball was catchable personally.
Pass interference.
I mean, he throws the ball.
Number 19,
there's no way.
Defense.
It's a push in the back,
yards.
but there's no way. The ball's out of bounds. There's no way you're going to make a catch there by Darius Hayward Bay. Ball's thrown out of bounds. Vaughn Rivers has every right to be upset. 3rd down and long. Ball's thrown out of bounds, and they're going to call a push in the back against Vaughn Rivers.
The crowd saw the replay, and that's why they're fussing. Ball moved now to the 36. 1st down inside of 2 minutes. Joey Hanos, the tight end in the slot. He'll sneak out over the middle, and Hollenbach looks for him, finds him for about a 10-yard gain out of bounds, the 46.
They catch a break on 3rd down, get a second life, come right back on 1st and 10, and a quick throw that time against a blitz by Hollenbach. Now we're getting under 2 minutes. See how comfortable Hollenbach is in this 2-minute drill. Typically quarterbacks that are schooled by Ralph Friedgen, this is usually their comfort zone, something that they execute very well. We've seen it over the years from going back to Joe Hamilton and George Gotze at Georgia Tech.
Once again, they work to the tight end. Hanos, same formation, similar throw, this time a shorter gain up near midfield.
15 turns.
Well, Hollenbach getting rid of the ball quickly. It's good to be able to get the ball out. Same time, sometimes tough to be able to get the ball downfield.
No, Pugh, that's a tough matchup. He goes 195 pounds. Hanos is 267. Trying to stay with him. He's also given away about 10 inches in height. Now they put Hanos in the slot to the right. He stays in as a blocker as Hollenbach flips it to Isaiah Williams. Another short gain will set up a 3rd and short.
Jeff Castillo, the defensive coordinator from West Virginia, just kind of mixing up the looks. They have the unconventional defense, the 3-3-5. It allows them to be pretty creative with their blitz package. That time they brought a corner blitz off the side. Hollenbach had to get rid of the ball quickly, and now it's 3rd down and short.
You don't see this defense except in the Mountain West. Air Force uses it. Hollenbach on 3rd and 3 flips it complete for a 1st down. The 40-yard line of West Virginia's Danny Okendo. Versatile member of this receiving group. He'll play all 3 receiving positions for the Terrapins. Right back at it. Clock will wind at a minute 33. Hollenbach, another short delivery. Once again, Okendo coming out of the slot, breaks a tackle, spins inside the 25. It's a little rhythm now for Hollenbach.
Rhythm for Hollenbach, gets rid of the football quickly. I said you don't get a chance to get the ball thrown downfield, but what happens is you need players to make plays. Oquendo this time breaks a tackle and then gets upfield, and now we've got a flag after the play.
Very
play.
late.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 8 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
That's Quentin Andrews. Now Rodriguez is trying to tell his guys, look, I know it's an exciting night. We've got out to a great start, but things get a little too emotional for his team.
If you're going to try to go out and dominate a team, and you see that 5, that's 5th in the nation. You're not allowed to go out there as a young player and do things like this. And this is something that Rich Rodriguez will go back, as happy as he is about the way things looked early. He'll be just as frustrated because of some of the plays here that have allowed Maryland to keep some drives alive.
So 4th major penalty on the Mountaineers so far. Hollenbach connected on his last 5 throws. This time rolls to his right. Doesn't quite have Pat White's speed. Scurries out at the 11. A little difference in the wheels and the two quarterbacks tonight.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, you could kind of read the body language from up here from West Virginia. The players, after that pass interference call, they've lost their composure a little bit, and Rich Rodriguez is upset. I mean, it's one thing to when a team executes against you, but when you help them, that's where it drives a head coach crazy. And now, once again, with the help from West Virginia, Maryland executing, making some throws from Hollenbach, but moving the ball down inside that 15-yard line.
Hollenbach chased from behind, flips to the end zone, just throws it away. I predicted when Aaron talks to Coach Rodriguez at the end of the half here, he may mention those 4 major penalties they've taken in the loss of composure. That's got him upset.
That's all he's going to talk about. He's not. Aaron might try to ask him about, boy, the offense. Look at I want to. He's going to be in that locker room at halftime talking about the lack of execution and the mental mistakes of his team here in the first half to give Maryland hope. Hollenbach starting to, Chris, you said it, finding a rhythm here. Let's see if he can make it happen on 3rd down.
He needs to find 9 yards, get near the 2-yard line for a 1st and goal. Fires short, off the hands of Hanos, incomplete. Pretty well delivered. John Holmes there on the coverage, but the big 6'8" tight end couldn't haul it in. And they tried out the field goal team.
That is a long throw to the sideline. Even if the tight end's able to come up with the catch there, the defense is there, and he's going to be short to the 1st down.
This is Dan Ennis, who struggled a bit, missed a couple last week. He is a senior. And this from 28 yards. Somewhat tricky angle, but Ennis knocks it right through. Helped by penalties, Maryland cuts it to 21.
West Virginia University is a special place.
West Virginians are different. They're kind, respectful.
We have a best-kept secret.
Excellence here is expected, valued, honored, and recognized.
You can do anything that you want at WVU. It will not only introduce you to the world, it will introduce you to yourself.
It's definitely a unique experience. There's a lot of opportunities here.
It's a place where dreams can come true.
So Maryland, not what they were looking for, does kick the field goal, get within 21 points. And Rodriguez will have some ammunition for his halftime talk. Perhaps reminding his guys of what happened in the Sugar Bowl when they blew out to a big lead and Georgia really scared them late. Of course, that was a different team in a different setting, but that's what coaches do.
Well, early in the football season, you're going to learn a lot about your football team for both head coaches. The team that jumps out to a big lead, can they maintain their hunger and desire and focus like this?
Ran out fumbling the kickoff, but finding room, and he's off.
Yeah, pretty focused.
Friedgen trying to smile, but he couldn't. 96 yards for Reynaud, who's had a monster first half as well after he fumbled the ball. McAfee is perfect. We've got something else to talk about now there.
Now, that'll trump the negativity of some of the mental errors, but I tell you, there's nothing that replaces overall speed of a team. And I think we got to start adding Darius Reynaud to the speed and breakaway ability of Pat White and Steve Slayton. He has been a big factor tonight, not only on special teams as you've seen here, but giving them a dimension where they can throw the football and take some of that pressure off of Pat White and Steve Slayton.
You see the big tight end. As if they have had enough trouble stopping this West Virginia offense. It's been a nightmarish special teams evening for Maryland. They fumbled 2 kickoffs, and now the kickoff return for a touchdown by Reynaud.
What I was saying before that 96-yard kickoff return by West Virginia is seriously, game 2, game 3 of the season, you really have a chance to learn a lot about the character of your team for both coaches. Rich Rodriguez has a chance. Can his team stay focused when they jump out to a big lead, or they let their guard down a little bit? They bounce back with that big return. They've looked great, obviously, all night. And then for Maryland, to his guys go in the tank. Because it's not just about tonight. Right. It's about building the morale and the character of the team throughout the entire season. So still a lot here to learn as far as this team is concerned. But a frustrating night for Ralph Friedgen, who had so many good thoughts and so many hopes for this season going in the right direction. And not that it still can't, but a lot of it, they could have used a win tonight against a team like West Virginia to springboard themselves, but that will not be the case. Mountaineers are for real. They came out to play early.
McAfee fires a low kickoff. And so Kendo takes a hit after he slips to the ground at the 31. So Reynaud, pretty good night, stealing a bit of Slayton's thunder in the first half. 4 receptions from it out on a touchdown. Run the ball once for 6 yards, and then the kickoff return to the house.
Well, he's big on special teams, but where they play him on the offense, the inside receiver, he is a running back that lines up as a slot receiver, and they get him the ball off the bubble screens. They basically just try to find a way to get him the football in space.
Okendo and Hayward Bay set out wide to the left as Maryland, with the play clock running down, will have to spend a timeout here. 11 seconds to go in the half. Friedgen had hoped this would be a showcase game for his program. He talked so much about what it means to West Virginia. National TV, that number 5 ranking to protect. Friedgen a chance to show that his program, after consecutive losing seasons, back on the good foot. And of course, they've got an ACC schedule to look forward to. Our all-state standings, you see West Virginia up there at number 5. Perhaps they can get a little help. LSU could knock off Auburn, or perhaps USC stumbles and Michigan beats Notre Dame. I mean, this team moving up next week, maybe.
My take on this for West Virginia is that they're going to be the odd man out if you have multiple teams potentially run the table. Let's say, for example, Ohio State, maybe Notre Dame, USC have a chance. They're late. Winner of the Notre Dame USC game, possibly unbeaten. You have West Virginia. They have, I think they will be the outside team looking in because of the knock on the schedule. The computers won't like their schedule. The pollsters will not like their schedule. They'll be the team on the outside looking in, let alone if a team from the SEC potentially gets hot and can run the table.
You like to look ahead, don't you?
Yeah.
UNLC, you're already projecting to December with multiple unbeaten teams.
I mean, everyone's. I'm not saying West Virginia's going to run the table. I'm just saying that their game at Louisville, by the way, on a Thursday night, could be a brawl. I'm not saying that's a walk in the park.
Brawl in a good way.
Yeah.
Fun game.
It's go time.
Hollenbach flips it into the Mountaineers bench as he's brought down. Well, I mean, Rodriguez is very quick to point out that this is not the kind of football team that can trot out the B-, C+ effort and beat anybody. He believes that he needs to keep his guys keyed up, performing near their peak every week, that, yeah, the offense is explosive. Yes, there's a lot of speed on this field, but overall as a football team, they're not going to get away with the off night.
No.
Like an Ohio State might be able to, or USC or so on. So,
but that's what they build this
season. The hype's only going to build from this.
They build their program, though, on that kind of attitude.
Oh, they try the hook and ladder play, and it's Okendo spinning to the 40, loses the football. West Virginia has it. Time, thankfully for Maryland, has run out on the 4th Terrapin turnover of what's been a nightmarish first 30 minutes in Morgantown for Friedgen. A little trickeration here. Isaiah Williams to Okendo, and he's had a tough night. You can see that Boo McLeod delivered the big blow, knocked it loose, and then flying in was John Holmes to finally force the fumble. Well, let's hear what Coach Rod has to say with Aaron.
Well, Coach, right before Darius Renard scored that touchdown, you gathered your troops together. What'd you say to him?
Well, I was just I'm a little upset. We had way too many stupid penalties, and it killed us both on offense and defense, so we got to play smarter than that.
What are you going to tell them about that in the locker room?
Well, obviously, we had 30 yards of penalties on offense, 30 yards on defense, and we can't do that against a quality team like Maryland. We got to get that corrected at halftime.
Coach, thank you. Chris, just as you predicted.
I say nothing.
Coaches.
I told you. I told you he would do that.
Half was hard. That's what it all comes down to. He was actually happy with his quarterback, Sam Hollenbach. He said he thought he played well and kept it up down the stretch. I said, what do you have to do against Slayton and White? And he said, pray, bring out the rosary, you name it. I don't know. Hey,
Kirk, do you think he brought up the name Frank Reich at halftime? Remember the Maryland quarterback go 31-0 down at Miami.
It's on Classic all the time.
Came back and won that game for the Terrapins before he engineered the big comeback with the Bills against the Oilers. Well, a lot of work to do if they're going to try to get back in this one. And Land's ball, a short carry over the left side for about 2. Not a real explosive offense. I mean, it hasn't been. It's kind of methodical.
Yeah, it is methodical, but I've been impressed with Hollenbach, the quarterback, considering the circumstances, the fact he got down 28-0. He's had to throw the football when West Virginia's defense has known it. But I've been really pleased with the way he sat in the pocket and made some pretty good decisions. And he's not giving up. That's the most important thing for a quarterback to lead his team when you get down by such a big margin.
Well, no doubt. That touchdown drive, though, took 8 minutes, and they can't afford the long marches. They run the option, and Keon Lattimore takes the pitch and kind of squirms for 2.
Well, that's kind of the Achilles heel of this offense of Maryland's at this stage of the game. Big, strong offensive line, maybe the best ever under Ralph Friedgen. Quarterback that's kind of a veteran, and it's a good leader. Tight ends are solid. It comes down to, can Isaiah Williams on the outside, Okendo on the outside, Hayward Bay when Weatherly gets healthy. Can these receivers give them enough of a threat to get vertical?
Hayward Bay to the top of your screen. Okendo and Williams split to the right on 3rd and 6. Hollenbach flips it across, caught by Hayward Bay. Shows his change of direction. First down across the 40.
Yeah, and Hayward Bay at his size at 6'2", 205 pounds, he's a freshman. Runs a 4.4. He's a guy that I think they're going to be very proud of the way he develops this year. That was again, well executed, nice design play by Ralph Friedgen. Dumped it underneath on 3rd down. And again, the offensive line giving Hollenbach time to throw.
He's going to be mad at you. You said 4.4. They clocked him at 4.2.
I'm sorry.
4.3.
Well, we could use that speed, so it's a 4.1 last I heard for Maryland.
Call a receiver 4.4 these days. That's slow. Hollenbach deep down the sidelines, well defended and intercepted. But now they're going to talk about it and say it's a double catch. Holmes pointing his direction. The official ran across the field and
Chris,
the receiver had it.
Well, there's confusion, and it's going to come down to who had possession when their bodies simultaneously hit the turf. Great position by Lewis to just completely used his body to push the receiver Hayward Bay to the outside. He high pointed the ball, giving up about 3 or 4 inches. It's just going to be a matter of who they decide had the ball when they
ruling on
came
the
down.
field is that the defender had control of the ball, came to the ground. Therefore, it's an interception. First down.
Yeah, I really believe that that's the right call, whether they review this or not. Antonio Lewis had great position, and I want you to watch him for his size. He makes the catch. Now, when he makes contact with the turf with his shoulder, he has possession of the football, and then once they go down, Hayward Bay pulls it away from him right there to make it look as if he made the catch. But when they initially made contact, the ball was in possession of the defensive back Lewis for the interception.
It's close, though.
Very close. But because it's up against his face mask, even if the receiver, Hayward Bay, might have more authority of the ball, it's against the defender's body, and the referee is going to call that every single time. I'll tell you, he deserved the interception, the way he got himself in position there to make that catch.
Now we'll see as they run in and blow a whistle. Maryland will take a timeout.
The head coach of Maryland is challenging the ruling on the field.
What you have to do now is call a timeout to get the challenge done. And if you don't win the challenge, you lose the timeout.
We're going to see if there's evidence upstairs that could turn the play around. You see Lewis kind of going through it, saying, then he took it.
I had it. I had it hit the ground.
Then he got it. Going with the Chad Johnson haircut. And if you're the head coach of Maryland, Ralph Friedgen, you realize at 38-10, first drive, when else are you going to, why should you hold on to that timeout? Let's take a chance here. The booth upstairs was willing to let the play go. Why not take a chance and look at it? I'd be shocked if based on that video, they would review this and end up turning it the other way to give Maryland a catch. Great selling job. Hayward Bay comes around, rips the ball away.
What a night for this guy. He's another Maryland native on this West Virginia team from Waldorf, and it means a lot, of course, when you take on your home state. 6 tackles and that interception pending the ruling here on the replay.
Lewis said, I made the catch, and then when he took it when we rolled, that's when he took the ball from him.
Is that the kind of thing, though, if they had ruled catch on the field, it'd be tough to overturn that as well?
Either way, yeah. This is where they rely on the officials. It's tough looking at that evidence. I mean, the video there. Chris, I don't doubt that the receiver, Hayward Bay, had better possession of the ball there as they were fighting for it, but because the ball, watch this, a great shot of it, is up against the defender's face, he can't take it away from him, so it
and when
looks,
that knee hits, he's down.
Yeah, and as soon as there's contact to the turf, that's an interception.
But you're right, though. Hayward Bay, a great job trying to sell it and shows the competitiveness. That's what they want to see out of this young guy, playmaking ability and some toughness. Call may not go his way, but a good effort.
And you could see he sold it to the officials. The initial official came in and said, wow, he did catch that. And he pointed in possession of Maryland. And then when the officials came together as a group, they decided that the interception was made. Ball is against the defender's face. Looks like he has possession. As the knee goes down, it looks that he has possession. And then once they go down, as he said in his words, once I rolled, that's when Hayward Bay took it away.
Well, the key thing there, I think, is when the knee hits. And that's, at that point,
play's over.
Lewis had possession, and it's be a tough one to overturn, I think.
After review, the play stands as called on the field. Maryland will be charged with a timeout, and they will not have another challenge for the remainder of the game.
You know, Friedgen took a shot, might have been a long shot, but so was his comeback bid at this point. If it had been overturned, his team would have had the ball at the 12-yard line. As it is, turnover number 5 now for the Terrapins.
It's good to see it. A guy who's such a competitor, youthful as far as game experience, pretty excited there. And as I said, he take away the fact that there was a little bit of a dispute on whether or not he made the interception. He put himself in great position there to make the play.
Now let's see if this Mountaineer offense can get back in sync. So brilliant in the first quarter, sluggish, self-destructive with penalties in the second quarter when they had only 26 yards in that quarter. This is White on the keeper. Cuts back, dances around, loses the football himself, and it looks like the Terrapins have recovered. Well, now the focus really is lost in this West Virginia team. Wesley Jefferson,
recovered.
The linebacker covered it. First turnover tonight for the Mountaineers, and it's Pat White dropping it.
This is how you have to stop this offensive attack. When Pat White and Steve Slayton can run on you, you've got to be able to get your safety up. Be willing to take the chance and get the 7th and 8th man up into the box. See the safety being there? Defensive end comes off his block. Now you've got him corralled. That gives you at least a chance to slow down this quarterback, Pat White.
And again, this is a very talented West Virginia team, but it's still a young one. And White, just a sophomore, as is Slayton. It's pretty heady stuff to be ranked number 5 and blowing a team out in your home field on national TV. They have not really responded that well since building the lead. And Lance Ball follows a block to the right for a nice gain.
Ralph Friesen decides to use his replay, loses a timeout, and they catch a break by getting the turnover almost right exactly where Hayward Bay would have made the reception. Right. So, as fate would have it, it has a unique way of working itself out, and now Ralph Friesen has to come up with a few plays here where he's going to come up with 7 points. He cannot walk away from here without 7 points.
Okendo, the only receiver, set wide as they use 2 tight ends. Ball in the I formation, gets it, cuts it back, barrels up the middle, and finds the end zone. So Maryland converts the White fumble, a quick touchdown. And the ghost of Frank Reich is alive for now.
There's the size of the big offensive line. Andrew Crummey helping the center, Edwin Williams, on a nice double team. Creates a seam in the defense, and Ball, who that's his wheelhouse there, very, very easily reads that, cuts back. By the time he built up enough momentum, that West Virginia defense was not going to prevent him from getting to the end zone. Nice job up front by the Terrapin offensive line.
They tack on the point, so the Terrapins
never say die out of Maryland.
Well, if they had not given up that 96-yard kickoff return in the second quarter, they'd be closer. As it is, the Mountaineers trying to button a few things up on offense all of a sudden. Lance Ball finds the end zone, set up by the first turnover this year for West Virginia. And a few minutes ago, Pat White, although he's only a sophomore as a leader, telling his defense, it's on me. My fault, guys. I owe you one.
I like that. I like that from a young quarterback who is getting all the hype. He and Steve Slayton showing some maturity there, pointing to the defense coming off the field. Fellas, that one's on me. My bad. Let's kind of regroup here, and let's get back to playing the kind of football we've been playing for most of this night.
Really positive play for West Virginia since they built that big lead was a kickoff return for a touchdown by Renaud, who has this one and gets tripped up across the 20. We'll see if the Mountaineer offense can get back in sync, because Maryland did a better job in the second quarter of defending Slayton.
This could change on the next play, but because of the big lead, the stadium a little bit flat, the Mountaineers are a little bit flat, and look how much time we still have to go in this game. I'm not saying Maryland's going to come back and win this game. I'm just saying that this series will be very, very interesting to see if Maryland can try to force the hand of West Virginia, or if West Virginia keeps slicing and dicing and getting right down the field.
First down throw for White, who flips it and batted away. Trey Covington's had a nice ball game, and all of a sudden, Aaron, Maryland a little jump in their step after being knocked to the canvas early.
Yeah, you guys mentioned how the stadium is a little flat. I'm over here by the student section. They're not really standing up, but I'll tell you what, the Maryland sideline, they're not flat, but they're still very quiet and talking amongst themselves, guys, just about the job that was done on that last series. You know, this team, Herbie, you mentioned how they haven't given up. A lot of these guys coming into this season was talking about the 5 and 6 year last year, the bad taste in their mouth, how they had been talking about this game since the summertime. Means a lot to them.
And just tripping and falling after the handoff is Slayton, who'll lose about 4, and all of a sudden,
well, that's what I'm saying. This drive is huge. Going back to the point that Aaron made, 5 and 6 last year, 5 and 6 the year before that. That's following Ralph Friesen's first 3 years, where they won 10 games in those first 3 years. All the bad taste in their mouth is right, and they want to try to show that whether they win this game or not, they've got the fight and the character to hang in this game. It's a big third down.
There's 10 wins per season, actually 33 wins in those first 3 years. These guys on this year's team came in on the heels of that kind of success, but haven't been able to achieve it. So on 3rd and long, White lofts it down the sidelines, and unable to run under it is Brandon Miles, a 4.37 guy. Gardner there on the coverage, so a punt.
Well, the last 2 series, big for Maryland's defense to come out and start the second half. Not only forcing West Virginia, in this case, to punt. The previous series, the turnover. But look at the clock. Absolutely no time taken off the clock and giving Maryland's offense the ball again here. And we're really not even 5 minutes into the third quarter.
Only the second punt of the evening for Scott Kozlowski, the freshman. Varner and Okendo are deep. High kick. It's Varner who let it bounce. Didn't quite get there in time, and it bounds out of bounds at the 37-yard line. So West Virginia, after the furious start, begins to struggle a bit. Some penalties, a turnover, their first of the year, and now Maryland, a nice 3 and out. And here we go. We'll see how much fight the Terrapins have left. Still, as you said, plenty of time, Kirk.
And all of a sudden we're seeing a quarterback in Sam Hollenbach getting more and more comfortable. Last series was important for Maryland and their defense to get the ball back. Now we'll see what Sam Hollenbach can do with about over 60 yards to try to move the ball down the field.
The tight end, Hanos, on the right side of the formation. They hand it off to Lattimore out of the I formation, short gain. The thing is, it's not an offense that's really built around quick strike or big plays, and as well as the defense was able to play in that series, they need possessions and they need quick strikes.
Well, with that said, I think we've seen some of the receivers tonight step up and make some plays. Even on the shorter throws, they've been able to break through. If they're able to have success on this drive, and now you've cut it to 38-24, then it becomes interesting. This is a big drive, obviously.
Hollenbach flips it over the middle, caught by Hayward Bay, who had first down yardage, kind of ran backwards and is stopped short of the marker at the 46-yard line, short by a yard. James Ingram, a big defensive tackle there to stop him.
James Ingram. It's third down.
Friedgen, of course, coming back to his alma mater from Georgia Tech. Great success with the Orange Bowl when they lost to Spurrier in his farewell game. But again, the drop off the last couple of years, and because he built up expectations, Kirk, the media, big media market, not in love with what's going on there the last couple of years. On 3rd and short, they hand it off to Lattimore, and he barrels ahead first down at midfield.
You see the body language. Maryland pick up a first down. They get back in the huddle, getting excited. I asked Ralph Friedgen this morning about the fact that they've struggled these last 2 years, and I said, what's been the difference in the offense? I know you're taking over the play calling this year. And he said turnovers. We have thrown 33 interceptions in the last 2 years. I think if you look a little bit closer, the running game has not been there for Maryland the last couple of years, where the first 3 years that he was there, they had tremendous balance. This is one of those offenses where they have to be able to run the ball to set up his masterful play-action game.
We flip it out to Lattimore in the flat. A couple of nice blocks. He stumbles ahead for about 5.
Sam Hollenbach's pass.
Are they using the what kind of thing for the game? Lattimore's showing a lot of determination tonight when he's had his opportunity. He is the younger brother of Ray Lewis, who plays with so much fire, such a fun player to watch. And you can see the impact that he's had on his brother.
The knock on Keon early in his career, kind of indecisive. Now he really has become a very physical north-south guy.
Well, tonight he's running with some authority. It's great between he and Lance Ball. It's again provided the Terrapins with a nice tandem in the backfield.
This time he tries to turn the corner on the right, nothing doing. Good job by the Mountaineer defense to string it out 4 yards. In the pursuit, John Holmes and Bobby Hathaway there. Aaron, we are seeing an inspired Keon Lattimore tonight.
Absolutely. Chris, you mentioned the knock on him being indecisive. I was told actually at the beginning of the year he had a sit down with Ralph Friedgen and said, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with the way I'm playing. I'm not happy with the way you're playing me. Friedgen basically gave him a talk and said, you got to show me more, guy. And that's what he's doing.
Well, he's going to rotate in there with Ball and with Josh Allen, but it's been increasingly Lattimore's show tonight. Hollenbach hits it as he throws and fires over the middle, incomplete. Mark Magro, the linebacker, there to pressure.
It's the beauty of this 3-3-5 defense is disguising the blitz. Looks like it's coming from the middle at the last second. Ball is snapped, and the linebackers and the safeties come from the outside. That time, the offensive line did not pick up the pressure, and Hollenbach didn't have a chance to be able to find anybody to try to pick up that first.
Odlesh to punt, and Antonio Lewis, who had the interception a few minutes ago, signals for a fair catch right at the 10-yard line. So Maryland's defense once again has to step up for field position for the Mountaineers after the 41-yard punt, but
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by the totally new Jeep Compass, freedom in a whole new dimension, and Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
Mountaineers backed up on their 10-yard line, protecting a 38-17 lead, but it's been a sloppy quarter and a half for the 5th-ranked team. White, hands off, running room for Slayton. Out to the 45-yard line. That's more like it. His last 4 carries, Kirk had netted 0 yards. That's more like the Slayton in the first quarter.
Well, this time they're going in a position away from the safety. We talk about Maryland walking their safeties up. Walk a safety up this time, they run away from him. Great check there by the coaching staff on the sideline, giving Steve Slayton some running room, and now here they go. They're trying to create some tempo to get their offense going.
34 yards that time for Slayton, this time a hard-earned 2. Conrad Bolston on the tackle.
West Virginia in their spread offense believes in tempo. They have 3 different speeds that they run their no huddle. The regular personnel, and of course they have their Indy personnel, and then the jet. And you can see the first quarter, 230 yards, averaging almost 11 yards per snap. And since then, prior to that big run by Steve Slayton, have not done very much.
And Slayton's 15th carry, he reaches the 200-yard mark. This time White on the keeper, knifing through the defense. Pat White inside the 10. They can turn it on in a hurry after a sluggish couple of possessions. Their first turnover of the season. White, Slayton atoning for that.
Great blocking downfield. Look at the offensive line. Look at these blocks at the second level by these offensive linemen of West Virginia. And look at the running lane. It's a simple quarterback lead there, and the speed of Pat White with the blocking of the offensive line getting that second level. You cannot allow him to get into space or he'll make you pay for it.
First and goal. They pitch it back. Slayton trying to pick his way, showing that patience and bullying inside the 5 and brought down late. The crowd wants a flag as Covington was there. No flag.
It's funny, we're up here sensing a little bit of a lull for West Virginia. Aaron Andrews talked about it downstairs, and Rich Rodriguez, I think, felt the same thing at 38-17. They hadn't gotten anything going in their first 2 possessions. He said, we're going to get out there and we're going to go. We're going to get our tempo going, create a little bit of momentum for this offense, and within a couple, 2 or 3 plays, they go 85 yards and all the way to the other end of the field.
He had the entire group of starters huddled over there before the kickoff, sending that message received. 2nd and goal, number 4, Slayton again. Stutter steps, but nowhere to go.
Slayton on the carry.
Nice job filling in there by Dre Moore, the nose tackle.
I think we're seeing a difference in Pat White. As I said, everybody wants to say, can he throw the ball? How's he improved? This is him after the turnover in the second half that led to a Maryland touchdown. He says, my bad to the defense. Now with a chance to make some plays to try to give his offense a shot to be able to get points on the board, getting the ball all the way down to the 5-yard line.
3rd and goal. White trying to swarm ahead. He's stopped at the 2-yard line. Crowd immediately starts yelling, go.
Of course.
Well,
it's a big call here.
It's a valid point they make. Up by 21 inside of 5 minutes in the 3rd quarter. If you don't get it, you leave the football about 99 yards away. And the crowd approves. No kicker on the field.
And he's got a nice lead with a shot to go for the knockout punch right here. On the other hand, if you're Maryland, this is do or die for this defense.
They'll call a timeout. You see the play clock winding down here. So just maybe they haven't been able to convince Coach Rye yet to go for this. We'll find out when we come back.
West Virginia. Timeout.
Well, Slayton, although he's reached 200 yards, still has a ways to go. They've had some outstanding single-game rushing efforts, and the good backs have been over the years. Amos Zaraway, Coburn. Notice that East Carolina was the opponent for K.J. Harris's game a couple years ago, and for Coburn's big 260-yard game. You know, the next opponent for West Virginia would be the Pirates of ECU. So he didn't get the record tonight. Another chance next week for Slayton.
Well, I love all those backs. But the best back that it is only his sophomore year that I've seen in Morgantown is number 10, Steve Slayton. You know, it's early in his career, Chris, but he has a chance to knock off a lot of those numbers if they keep him in the game long enough. You look at the schedule and who they have to play, some of their marquee matchups. Thursday night football, we're going to get a chance to see him a couple more times. And the game at Louisville, I think a lot of people think could decide the Big East Championship in a BCS Bowl right.
Circle November 2nd. Michael Bush out or not, Louisville has plenty of weapons. Of course, the Cardinals have the big game against Miami this weekend. That's the biggest non-conference test for any Big East school. Cardinals are favored at home over Miami, but it'll be a lot of fun.
With all the talk early in the year about Troy Smith and Brady Quinn and even Pat White, two quarterbacks that get overlooked play in this conference in the Big East. Tyler Palko at Pittsburgh, who they take on Michigan State in a big game, big fan of his, and Brian Brom down at Louisville, who we'll get a chance to see a couple times. He is, now that he's healthy and recovered from his knee, a great NFL prospect.
Well, they talked about it, and they're still going for it. Slayton in the I formation, set behind 250-pound Owen Schmidt. They need 2 full yards here. White's got it, and he's got a touchdown. So West Virginia caps a real nice drive. The 2-yard touchdown run from Pat White, the 38th rushing touchdown in the last 10 games. That's incredible. That's vintage Nebraska stuff. That really is.
Yeah, it is.
He averaged almost 4 rushing touchdowns per game over a 10-game span. A 90-yard drive capped on a 4th down run by White, and one more time McAfee.
And you gotta love the call on the way they use his athletic ability to roll him to the outside, because he has that ability to run and throw. Once again, Pat White leading the Mountaineers to a big score.
Morgantown, West Virginia.
College football lives here.
This town is just a few minutes from the Pennsylvania border, about an hour and a half south of Pittsburgh, Washington, D.C., and the Maryland campus a few hours away to the east. They love their football in these parts. Great tradition at West Virginia. Going back to Sam Huff back in the day, and that Mountaineers getting a workout, running out of ammunition tonight too. That musket.
Working those tries, looks like you, babe.
There's old Sam Huff. Oh yeah, that was some hard-nosed football.
Oh man, knock you out.
And a short kickoff from McAfee, and it's Noah Carroll fielding it from Maryland. He'll be stopped short of the 20-yard line. Yeah, about 4 minutes to go on the clock, we were saying, yeah, this offense sputtering, sluggish a little bit. I think they found some high octane, and they refueled and got going.
Yeah, in the last 6 games, they've kept refueling, because you look at what they've been able to do per game. This is on the ground. I want to see if anybody can get into the face of this West Virginia offense this year and challenge them physically and athletically. Who's willing to put 8 guys up front and say, Pat White and Steve Slayton, you cannot beat us by running the football? Can anybody match up with them and challenge them? Because you've got to be skilled on the perimeter to be able to do that.
Hollenbach handing off to Lance Ball. He didn't have the speed to turn the corner there as Holmes, who's been very active tonight, the strong safety.
Again, the only knock that you ever hear on a West Virginia offense is, can they throw the ball if they have to?
Right.
And I'll continue to say, why? Why do they have to? Patrick White tonight is only 6 of 9. But again, until somebody shows them consistently that you're going to take away their run, I mean, they're averaging over 350 yards a game on the ground.
Well, Maryland knew they were going to run the football.
Yeah.
That last drive, though, boom, Slayton for 34, White for 47.
Just happened so fast.
With short field. Tight end, set back, and once again, it's Hanos with a short catch over the middle. He's been a frequent target for Hollenbach, but hasn't really been able to do any downfield damage the way of Vernon Davis would do in this offense.
And one thing more on West Virginia's offense, Chris, what I think Rich Rodriguez has cornered the market on is the way he'll spread teams out. He's got an athletic, undersized offensive line, and they smash you in the mouth because of the tempo that they create. It's very difficult on a defense to practice that, prepare for the speed and aggressiveness of that offense.
On 3rd and 4, Hayward Bay in motion. Hollenbach looks right there, finds him, fighting towards the first down yardage near the 30.
Hollenbach's pass complete to Darius Hayward Bay.
Very close. And the official's right foot is right in that yellow line. You're the veteran up here.
Looks like they have the first down. I'll give it to them. Dinkin and Duncan, you talked about it. That time they had, if you go back and look at the replay, they had 3 receivers, 2 of their tight ends, and then Hayward Bay right at 6 yards.
It is a first down. 15 completions now, Kirk. Only 115 yards for Hollenbach.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. This is more of a nickel and dime kind of pass game right now. They've taken a few shots downfield, and I think right now they're going to have to just try to stretch this defense out and make a big play through the air.
Hayward Bay, the speedster, set to the right side. Hollenbach instead throws short for Hanos one more time. This is Dinkin and Duncan at its best. 5-yard gain halfway on the stop.
A lot of that has to do with what West Virginia is doing defensively. Is they're taking away the deeper routes downfield. Jeff Castile, the defensive coordinator, has said, you know what, we're going to back. We've got a nice lead. 3rd quarter's winding down. Let's back our people up and force them to go underneath. Jeff Castile in the blue hat, very, very good defensive coordinator. He said, back them up, make them dump it underneath. Let's make the tackle. The clock continues to move. That's okay. That's what we want to see happen.
Castile also coaches the linebackers. He's in his 6th year here, but has taken over as the coordinator as they hand it off to Latimer up the middle. He finds running room and bowls near midfield and into West Virginia territory. So Latimer continues to run inspired. Andrews finally able to stop him.
I think the greatest compliment you can give a running back is that he's running angry or hungry, and that's what we're seeing here from Lattimore.
The other knock, besides the fact maybe that West Virginia isn't a great passing team when the opponent knows they have to pass, was this defense. The question, will they be physical enough? I mean, Castile himself says that there's no real marquee guy, no real standout guy on this defense. Collectively, they're pretty good and they're quick. There's no future next-level player here.
Well, the only chance that they have for Jeff Castile is to play gang defense, just a bunch of jerseys flying around and trying to make a play together because they don't have those individual standout players.
Lattimore follows up Maryland's longest run of the night, 16 yards with about 6 more there.
But I think that's why they've instituted this 3-3-5. It gives them an unusual look. Not many offenses that prepare to see West Virginia are used to seeing it. So their offense is a little bit different and their defense is a little bit different. Because they don't have the marquee athletes, they have to have kind of an unusual oddball look defense.
So 45 minutes in the books, 45 points on the board for the number 5 team in the country. 4th quarter when you come back. .17 with a quarter to play in Morgantown, West Virginia. Many ways to enjoy this football game. Besides attending the game, you can also watch on your phone. If you have the ESPN mobile service, it's loading right there. You see it's almost loaded, streaming video.
Very sweet.
I want to congratulate them on getting cell phone reception here. I've had a tough time
a little bit of a hang up
in the mountains. Yeah, it's been tough around here. But
been okay.
ESPN mobile working just fine. So again, it's Lattimore fighting ahead. Wrestled down by Eric Wicks and Keelan Dykes. Methodical Maryland, trying to march a little closer, but using time.
Using time to point. When it was 34-17, I think they were thinking still getting back into this game. Lister is a miracle. Ralph Friedgen at this point trying to show his team we're not going to give up. We're going to keep fighting.
Lattimore behind the fullback Chaser on 3rd and 2. Gets it. Tries to bounce to his right. Slams into his lineman. A big tackle. Gaither, 350-pounder, was there trying to create a hole. Lattimore ran into him and was stopped short of first down yardage. Want to peruse the Applebee's weekend menu. I mean, this is serious menu around the country. And in the Big East, it's also a very big weekend. Louisville and Miami. 3:30 Eastern time on ABC, and Pitt
look out.
Off to a good start. They've already smacked around Virginia. Now they got Michigan State at home.
Michigan State has Notre Dame next week. Michigan State with Drew Stanton, a talented team, but look out for Pitt.
Already 4-2 against other BCS conference teams for the Big East.
My Rutgers Scarlet Knights are looking pretty good. Huh?
See them on Thursdays.
That's right.
A few weeks, huh? So Lattimore, the setback on 4th and short, gets it. And gets the first down. 5th straight carry for the guy who's become the workhorse. If he wanted more work from Friedgen in the backfield, he's getting his wish tonight.
Getting a push there, it seems like every time it comes up 3rd and short or 4th and short, that offensive line takes over and gives him a chance.
But he is showing the coach. You see, I'm the best back on this team. I want the work.
There's no doubt about that. Lance Ball's made some plays tonight, too. And what's great is they compete with one another to try to stay out in the field. They both can stay fresh, but the hot hand right now belongs to Keon Lattimore.
So on first down, once again, the tight end Hanos in the slot, delays and goes out. Hollenbach looked there quickly, instead fires it short. And it's Lattimore out of the backfield for about a 2-yard gain. Let's go to Reese Davis for the 30 and 30 update. Reese?
All right, Chris, a Yahoo Sports investigation claims that Reggie Bush and his family took over $100,000 in cash and benefits while Bush was still a player at USC. Bush was contacted by the reporters for comment and declined to answer the charges. A marketing agent accused of giving some of those gifts and benefits says it's not true. Tiger Woods, his 5-match winning streak over. He loses to Sean McKeel, 4-3 at the World Match Play Championship. Sports Center after the game, ESPN News always.
Reese, thank you. Ball in the air, incomplete. Hollenbach's streak of completions is stopped at 7. He was looking for Hayward Bay.
Was intended for number 8, Darius Hayward Bay.
Stay tuned on that Reggie Bush investigation.
And incomplete.
And he sets up a 3rd and 8 for Hollenbach. As the tight end trots out, they bring in Lance Ball as the tailback. 2 plays to get the 8 yards, you'd have to believe. Lattimore comes back in. As well as Ball, split behind Hollenbach, who's in the shotgun, but only about 3 yards behind center. Here comes the pressure, flips it off, almost intercepted. The Mountaineers brought the house from the right side. John Holmes darting in there to pressure Hollenbach. He flipped it off to the right side, right into traffic. So 4th and 8.
Well, the pressure was there, but it's a good job of being prepared for that screen. The defensive line, they just followed Lattimore out. They sniffed out the screen right away. And if the ball was thrown on target, it might have been intercepted by the defensive line of West Virginia.
Obviously going on 4th down. Lattimore, the one back, offset, quick drop, and incomplete. He pumped once, but flying in there was Holmes to pressure Hollenbach. He had to get rid of it quickly. Nobody there. So a 13-play drive comes up empty.
Again, the speed of this 3-3-5 defense. They bring the pressure this time from the outside. And we kept talking about who's going to win the battle up front between the size of the Maryland offensive line and the quickness and athletic ability of the West Virginia defense. That time from the outside, John Holmes had a chance to get in there. Hathaway, both linebackers getting through and putting the pressure. And you saw Ralph Regent talk to his quarterback, probably saying, hey, you've got to help them by moving the offensive line and giving yourself some time to throw.
John Holmes, he can cover, he can run to the football, make hits, he can penetrate. And the West Virginia offense back at it. Slayton spinning and now reverses field. This could be fun. Too many white shirts and a big loss for Slayton. Is that going to drop him back under 200 yards now? 10-yard loss?
Yeah, it's down to 192 now.
Stop made by 68, Carlos Feliciano.
Talked about West Virginia. If you look back to the last few games of last season and the first 2 games of 2006, that's good stuff. Look at those rushing touchdowns. That's circus numbers.
Everybody's looking at that saying, yeah, well, Cincinnati, this team. But when they did it against Georgia is when I think a lot of people said, wow, they really can run the football.
I think old Greg Blue and the Bulldogs were stunned themselves on that night in the Georgia Dome. Can't sneak up on anybody this year, you wouldn't think. Hand it off, and Schmidt fights ahead. Big physical runner gets back those 10 yards that Slayton lost. Wesley Jefferson there on the stop.
You know, you start to look down their schedule. You start to think about who they have to play and who could potentially match up with them physically to try to slow down this growing trend of their ability to get over 350 yards of rushing as a team. I don't know until you get to Louisville November 2nd if anybody athletically can match up with this offense.
And that's a big if for the Cardinals.
Yeah, I know.
I think maybe outscoring him is more like it.
Could come down to that.
And 3rd and 10. Terrapins show only a 3-man rush. Now they sneak Covington in there for pressure, and White keeps it. Scored sideways. A flag comes out as he stopped about 5 yards short of the first down. Big East has a lot of physical running games. That's the characteristic of the league. You see that the holding penalty, the Terrapins likely to decline this and force a punt. Physical running games, and defense is built to stop the physical running games, but not necessarily this kind of speed in the running game.
Holding, number 76. The penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
Chris, it's a combination of the way these guys run the football with their style, but it's the spread look. They spread the defense all over the field, and then they allow them to just get down. They run downhill. So it's kind of a combination of a bunch of things that makes this spread offense so good. And I think they're the most physical spread team in the United States. I think they spread you out, but the tempo they create by getting in and out of the huddle, well, they don't get into the huddle, but getting up to the line of scrimmage and their no-huddle look, I think that puts the defense back on their heels quite a bit.
Kozlowski, the freshman punter, delivers a kick as he runs to his right. He was pressured there. Okendo with his short return to the 35-yard line. So Maryland methodically takes over, but still in a huge hole here in Morgantown. This game being presented in beautiful ESPN HD by Pioneer Plasma. If you have HD, Kirk, you can really zoom in on all the ice, all the diamonds in that West Virginia ring. Nice stuff. You get your Citrus Bowl rings? You still wear those around? Or I know it wasn't a BCS
I still have my room at the Peabody.
Okay.
Down in beautiful downtown Orlando.
Where's your Citrus Bowl ring?
Oh, they're all over I just spread the wealth.
eBay, you give them. Allen back, the throw, first down, the catch. Good yardage across midfield. Yeah, you can't spell the citrus without Herbie.
Me and Peyton, right?
That's right. You and Peyton have something in common as quarterbacks. A lot of time in the Citrus Bowl.
Oh, yeah. Times have changed in Columbus.
Oh, yeah.
Life is good.
Not many Citrus Bowls these days.
No, they're doing well. They're
thinking about the desert again. They're in the driver's seat.
What's it been, like 3 of the last 4 years? go out there every year.
Well, this year won't be in Tempe now. They get the lay of the land in Tempe out in Glendale in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
They won't mind that setting if the BCS championships at stake.
I think their fans have already bought up the place out there after their performance down in Austin.
Well, they've been known to jump the gun as well, but I
excited.
don't blame them about getting excited.
10 and white that night looked pretty good.
Mr. Smith did offside of the Mountaineers.
Number 90, defense, 5 yards, still first down.
Rich Rodriguez had a contract negotiation in the offseason, took a raise. He's making about $1.1 million. It's great for him, considering 10 years ago he made nothing. But Aaron, he had a bigger concern, or at least another concern besides his own salary.
Yeah, he did. We signed a new 7-year deal in the summer, but with that contract, of course, he wanted to look out for his assistant coaches, get them some more money. And he also wanted West Virginia to guarantee a new study center, the facilities, locker room renovations. He told us yesterday he's still looking for a big donor to help out. Coach Rod is going to actually kick in some of his own money for the academics. His wife, Rita, should just, get on the ball with that. She put out a great spread yesterday.
How about
I'm sure some donor would love to. What did she have out there?
Let me just say.
Tostitos with dip and what else, guys?
Well, she had the cheese dip going, and she had a nice cake of some sort there. She had.
All they need is a donor to come take a look at that.
Yeah, I bet you they were donated those chips. I think Tostitos likes to send out that stuff. I bet you didn't pay for those chips.
By the way, guys, little light drizzle now.
Really?
Yeah.
You have your ball cap down there?
By the way, Rich and Rita had fun when they named the kids there. Raquel and Rhett, the 2 kids for Rich and Rita.
You guys are
keeping the theme
giving
going.
the good stuff here. Yeah. 8 minutes to go. Looking forward to College Game Day this weekend. We got maybe the biggest weekend of the year to preview.
I'm going to urge all of our friends in Los Angeles, Kirky, all of our friends in L.A., and perhaps the Nebraska fans going out there. It's going to be dark and a little bit chilly, maybe about 10 hours to kick off on game day. We need them. This is the week we need them.
Yeah.
Call to duty. 2nd and inches for the Terrapins. Holland back. Will throw downfield. And just at the goal line, it's broken up, intended for Isaiah Williams. And Larry Williams there on the coverage. Reese, back to you.
All right, Chris, as you know, every week we honor the singular All-America Player of the Week. Notre Dame's Brady Quinn taking home the honor this time. 3 touchdowns, 287 yards in the victory over Penn State. You can get involved. Just text VOTE to 87654 on your singular wireless phone, and you will be entered for a chance to win a trip to the national championship game.
Quinn was mad at himself. The off night against Georgia Tech in the opener, but somehow you knew he'd bounce back.
Yeah, somehow.
Ball gets the call on 3rd and inches and gets the first down. Speaking of Georgia Tech, we'll see them next week on Thursday night against Virginia. ACC opener for the Jackets.
Georgia Tech, after coming so close to upsetting Notre Dame, had a win last week, and see if they can continue to move forward to try to have a great year for Chan Gailey.
Drizzle's all part of the fun here in the mountains of West Virginia.
All part of the fun.
Oh, yeah.
What are you talking about?
They're used to it. Look at them. They're not fazed by this. Some of the students that may be headed for the post-game party already.
You're not down there. You'd take cover.
That body paint, that face paint, that's waterproof. He's ready for the rain. He's not worried
Have you ever
about it.
seen rain like the last day and a half or so? Yesterday afternoon and evening?
The storm we had. Yeah, that was bad. That was a mountain thunderstorm there. Lightning flashing.
It's coming hard.
The lineman down from Maryland is the right tackle, Jared Gaither, the sophomore, I think 350-pounder, as they check out his left leg. Big future for this big guy. 6'9", 350.
He had basketball scholarship offers early in his high school career. And he only played 1 year of organized football. His senior year in high school, decided to go out. And when he is healthy and he's hitting on all cylinders, he is going to be one of the better offensive tackles in the ACC. Big man, getting better each week.
You think?
Yeah, 6'9", 350. That gets it done. Brian McKinney style from Miami.
Favoring that left leg as he trots off. Hayward Bay set far left. Williams in the slot. On about. Pressured. Chased. Hit as he throws. Fires over the middle and broke it up and caught. off the defender's hands into the hands of Isaiah Williams for a Terrapin touchdown of 35 yards. Hollenbach looking at his hand. He stood in there, took a hit from Ingram as he delivered the football off the hands of a defender.
I love the fact that Hollenbach here knows the pressure's coming. He's closing in on him. Sits in there, focuses downfield. Now he catches a break with the ball downfield, but he hangs in there, takes the shot, puts the ball up in the air for his guy to make a play, and catches a break as two West Virginia defenders fight over the ball, and it ends up landing in the arms of Isaiah Williams.
And it's with the conversion. Quentin Andrews got a hand on the football. You know what the Terrapin fans are saying? About time we got a break. Every other bounce of the ball has gone the Mountaineers' way. But Maryland, if they're playing for pride, tightens it up just a bit.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar. Eating good in the neighborhood. Applebee's. And in part by Hummer, like nothing else.
A little moisture in the mountains for Isaiah Williams, his first career touchdown. He caught just one ball as a freshman last year. And for Sam Hollenbach, the first touchdown pass of the season. And he paid the price, stood in there. Little luck involved with Williams on the other end.
Yeah, he hung in there, made the throw. Another night for Steve Slayton and Pat White.
Slayton 192 yards. He had the 200-yard game, you'll recall, but then lost 10 yards to push it back to 192.
Boy, they jumped out of the gate tonight. It was 14-0 before we could get our board set and get everything situated up here. Marty was fired up for a big game. Next thing you know, it's 14-0 and then 28-0 in the first quarter.
Our old friend Mike Tirico and company looking forward to Monday Night Football. This time it'll be the Steelers and the Jaguars. Here's a preview.
The title defense began with a win and reminders how strong the Steelers defense is. Now the champs hit the road. Jacksonville rallied to beat Dallas in Week 1. Two playoff teams from 2005. Only one opens 2006 2-0. Steelers Jaguars 8:30 Eastern on ESPN's Monday Night Football.
Forward to that. Midway fourth quarter here. West Virginia. What do you think? Number 5 in the country coming in a big show in the first quarter. They've had some breaks. They had the special teams touchdown. I know these two guys are ecstatic, but what about the people who aren't West Virginia fans around the country, just watching to see, you know, as the guys at halftime talked about how this team stacks up against the LSUs and the Auburns and the USCs.
I think they deserve it. I don't think it's a slam dunk. You saw them tonight, put them up there at number 1 or number 2 in the country.
No. Who's saying that?
But I think their fans probably are. But I think if you're looking at this objectively, you have to put them behind teams like Ohio State, Notre Dame, USC, the Auburns of the world. And, I mean, we're at week 2 or week 3 here. There's still a long way to go. But, yeah, there's no doubt they should be up there, but not ahead of a lot of these teams.
Now, fielding the kick is Vaughn Rivers over his shoulder at the goal line, and he slips down to the 14. Their fans are saying a lot of things, but their fans are dancing around in the rain with the hats on and, you know, with a nice buzz on. I mean, no one else is saying they're number 1 or 2 in the country, are they, Reese Davis?
I don't think they are, Chris. And perhaps, speaking of buzz, in Murfreesboro, Middle Tennessee and Tennessee Tech tonight, there is a young gentleman who made his way onto the field and grabbed a rope that for some reason was hanging from the goalpost, and, well, he pulled him off kilter a little bit. Middle Tennessee, 44-0 lead.
Now, Middle Tennessee, it's in the smacked. Actually, they actually didn't get smacked around by Maryland. They actually played them pretty tough. They actually outgained Maryland in that loss last week. Middle Tennessee did.
Steve Slayton going backwards again.
Steve, this is no way to get a 200-yard game. Come on, kid.
Well, he was at 202 yards.
Yeah.
He was working himself back to 189 yards.
Still 10 yards a carry.
The thing that's great about Steve Slayton is, geez, what's wrong? All of a sudden, 60 yards later, his numbers go back up.
These guys are probably ecstatic to even be in the football game midway fourth quarter. They barely played in the second half of the 2 opening wins. Now Slayton a chance to add to that total. Runs to his right, finds a little crease, gets out near the 20. Covington there on the stop, and a flag down.
The difference between West Virginia and those other 5 or 6 teams that are up there ranked at this point is the defensive play. West Virginia, I think, could play with those teams with their offense. Their defense right now could not compete with those teams. And that's the difference between West Virginia and the other teams that are ranked ahead of them.
In what way? You don't like the corners being able to stop big-time receivers?
Number 62 offense, half the distance, still second down.
I think their inexperienced secondary is a weakness at this point. I think their linebackers have some concerns, and it's not shocking. A lot of these guys are new players. As they gain more experience, I think they can become a strength. But right now, in week 3, you'd have to say that their defense is behind those other teams that are ranked up there with them.
But you still have to outscore.
Well,
the defense got beat badly by Georgia in the Sugar Bowl when all was said and done, but Mountaineers had more points when it was over.
Their offense could play with anybody in the country.
2nd and 13 after the hold, and once again, Maryland does a nice job on Slayton, and he continues to go backwards. Well, West Virginia can sit back and watch on Separation Saturday, see what happens. The teams around him in the national championship chase. Michigan hasn't won in South Bend in a long time, but you realize over the years that 75% of those games since they resumed the series in '78 decided on the final possession. Michigan, Notre Dame. Good stuff. And LSU Auburn's come down to kicks the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that first game with Michigan and Notre Dame. Michigan, I think, built their entire season, off season after a 7-5 year, into that Notre Dame game. They're going to leave it all on the field.
I want to ask you if Louisville can get a big win for the Big East Conference against Miami. When we come back, Big East taking care of business tonight here in Morgantown. I'm impressed with the football team, but also with the band here. Not usually something that I focus on at a game, but I do like the band here, West Virginia.
What do you like about the band here?
I just think they represent, well, they sound good. They were a nice halftime show. John Williams themed, not original, but they do a good job.
Did a nice job?
Yeah.
Okay.
3rd and 16. And see how cautiously Rodriguez wants to play this here, up by 3 touchdowns. And a whistle as the ball is snapped.
Prior to the snap, false start, 76 offense, half the distance, still 3rd down.
And penalty number 9. So we'll have plenty to talk about. And SportsCenter will have a lot to talk about here. A preview of Separation Saturday. Can USC hang 50 in Nebraska? Do they need to? That's a question they'll address. Tigers streak ends. He's a bum. He's a bum. He can't win his 6th tournament in a row. A little bit more on that Yahoo.com report on the investigation involving Reggie Bush as well. White out of his end zone. Scampers free on 3rd and long. They don't risk a pass. It's a short gain. David Holloway, the backup strong side linebacker, there on the stop. And now Maryland will spend a timeout. And that draws a boo from the crowd sitting in the drizzle here. Last timeout for the Terrapins. Talked about College Game Day. We'll have the preview of all 7 ranked versus ranked games here, including Callahan trying to make a statement as a big underdog in Los Angeles.
We're going to get a chance to see if Nebraska is ready for a primetime opportunity against one of the better teams year in and year out in USC. Pete Carroll lost so much talent, and in their first game looked like they didn't miss a beat, especially in the second half once they settled in. They've got some key injuries on defense, but it's 2 programs with a great tradition, obviously, and we'll see if USC or Nebraska is ready to take on that USC team.
First meeting in 35 years. That game in 1970 was a tie. Huskers went on to win the national championship that year. 2 weeks for USC to prepare for this game since the big win at Arkansas. Booty was sharp. Lane Kiffin, coordinator for USC, didn't think the receivers played well at all. Really called out Dwayne Jarrett. So I'm curious to see against a Husker secondary that's very banged up if the receivers from USC respond to this game.
Yeah, I think that'll be a key, and I think Nebraska's got to try to get pressure with their front 4. Their front 4 is very talented. Can they get pressure on on John David Booty. I'm looking forward to seeing in person after the way he performed against Arkansas. But you asked me before we hit the break, my friend, you forgot about Louisville.
This time, Miami. Louisville. Miami is an underdog. They've won 6 straight games as an underdog.
Right.
Coker 5-0 as an underdog. So we'll see after this punt, Mike Kozlowski, what you think. And he steps to his right, delivers a low kick, which Okendo will field at the 50. Turns it around and gets cracked there after a short return at the 47 by Marty Ivy, the linebacker down covering. So a chance for Maryland to make this score look a whole lot more respectable for the final gun. So what do you think? The Big East gets a win here against the ACC. That was kind of expected. But Louisville expected to beat Miami and Papa John's.
It's interesting that they're the favorite, and they're talking a little bit of smack about Miami. Coming in, Nate Harris, who was a part of Miami's program early and then has since joined Louisville. He came out and said this isn't the same Miami team of old. And I don't know if you want to do that. Whenever you put Miami into a corner, they usually come out swinging. But Louisville, Chris, Louisville has a great shot, and the reason, all the talk about Michael Bush being out, they've got so much depth in their backfield. George Stripling and Colby Smith, they are still able to put points on the board with Brian Brom throwing.
So Hanos collect the pass for a first down to the 36-yard line of West Virginia. Yeah, Bobby Petrino put the kibosh on all player comments after that.
Pretty smart.
Yeah.
What's not shown there in that graphic is Big East, Big Ten, Pittsburgh at home against Michigan State. Another opportunity for the Big East.
Hanos another catch on the near sideline for a short gain. Is that one of your upset specials? I don't even know who was expected to win that game.
I don't know
Pittsburgh?
either. I would guess. I'd guess Michigan State.
Michigan State, of course, has Notre Dame coming in after that, so
right.
Maybe they'll be peeking ahead to the Irish.
Maybe.
Pittsburgh has a chance for a really nice season. You know, Pitt-Rutgers was not a game before the year you thought might be a collision of teams that are undefeated. It's possible. They could meet mid-season. Long way to go, I know.
Rutgers is 6-0 when they play that game against Pitt.
Well, 3 straight catches for the tight end Hanos, who dives forward. He has another first down inside the 25 of the Mountaineers.
Hanos has been all over the field tonight for the Terps.
Catching short passes just like that one. Again, he's not a huge downfield threat. He's just a huge target, short.
Well, he's not Vernon Davis.
No.
I mean, he's not going to beat you, get vertical, and make big plays. Most of his catches have been out to the side and underneath. And the thing that's impressive for his size is that he can get upfield after he makes a catch.
He's caught 8 balls now, but only for 51 yards. More than 6 yards to carry. Hollenbach this time will look downfield, fires to the end zone over the head of Isaiah Williams. It was double covered down there. And a flag is down, far sideline.
Offside, number 96, defense, 5 yards, still first down.
Oh, the starters for West Virginia's defense still in there. That's Keelan Dykes, who was offsides. Rodriguez will certainly hammer on the penalties after this game. He'll not appreciate the fact that they've had 10 now for 95 yards. Sports Center following the last 4:47 of this game. Hollenbach pressured, fires, look for Hanos again, but James Ingram was in there to force the quick throw.
We talked earlier about Maryland getting down and trying to build for the future of this season. And even though they've lost this game tonight, how you look for just little things. And coaches like Ralph Friedgen, when they study the film tomorrow and they start to review things with their players, it's a tough loss, it's an embarrassing loss, but there's still a lot of football, a lot of games to be played. And they're going to find out who are their fighters, who wants to keep competing even though they've been beaten tonight.
This is Lance Ball collecting the pass. Sidesteps, he gets hammered, and the flag comes flying. Reed Williams, the sophomore backup linebacker, delivering the blow to Lance Ball. And the catch nullified by a hold. Listen to this one. Williams, a West Virginia guy, Moorfield. This roster dotted with guys from small towns in this state, just like that one. Tough guys.
Yeah, tough guys. He's instinctive, very good player, just a young player. That's what we were talking about. The difference with their defense from some of the others that are up in the top 5 is that they have a lot of youth, a lot of inexperience trying to learn this 3-3-5 defense.
Hollenbach reads the pressure and finds Hayward Bay, who spins inside the 15 near first down yardage. Holmes one more time there on the stop.
I've been really impressed if you're looking at Maryland as this season goes on. They came in tonight with a major question at the wide receiver position because of the youth and the inexperience. Overall, considering how this game has gone, those kids have shown some toughness tonight.
They'll throw on 3rd and short. Hollenbach fires incomplete. Again, he was looking for Hayward Bay in traffic, so it'll set up 4th and a yard as Rivers was there on the coverage. And the rain begins to fall a little harder. You're driving to Pittsburgh, right? You decided that already. You're behind the wheel tonight?
Yeah, I got no problem with that. All right. Won't be a problem. Hope Aaron's okay down there.
She'll be pretty waterlogged. She's going to have to sit in the back seat.
Yeah, throw her back with the luggage. She'll be fine.
Perkow. It's Lance Ball, the setback. He gets it straight up the middle and fights forward. They're dragging on his legs. It'll be close. I think he does have enough for the first down as Reed Williams is trying to haul him backwards. Yeah, first down. Forget about beating West Virginia. When you look ahead at their schedule, Kirk, I mean, who's going to challenge them? East Carolina on the road, Mississippi State down in Starkville. They haven't scored a point yet this season. Syracuse comes in here with that losing streak as they collide with the Illini this weekend at Connecticut. Okay, physical team, the Huskies.
Yeah.
Incomplete near the goalpost. They were looking for Hanos, and he was well covered. He pleads his case to the official, but no flag. And then Louisville.
Well, the 2 games have to be October 20th at Connecticut and then November 2nd at Louisville. Don't forget, they also in the backyard brawl have to go see Dave Wannstedt in Pitt.
Right.
So I mean, it's not as if, well, this is done. They're going to be undefeated.
No, I'm just saying who's going to test them before the Louisville game, if anybody.
I think it's going to have to. I don't think anybody really can athletically. I think it's going to be Louisville.
Hollenbach on 2nd down, turns it up. And collapses at the 8-yard line.
I think that game will decide a BCS Bowl. I mean, that's more than likely going to be the Big East champion determined on Thursday Night Football, November 2nd. I'm looking forward to Papa John Stadium.
BCS Bowl bid, but perhaps staying in running for the BCS championship game.
Yes.
See if Louisville can take care of business against the Canes. Did you ever make a prediction on that one? I don't think you did make a pick.
Yeah, at the beginning of the season?
No, did you pick?
I picked Louisville.
Yeah, but did you pick the Louisville-Miami?
Oh, no, that's for college game day. That's the prediction show.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's the prediction shows on Saturday.
In the end zone, a jump ball incomplete. They're looking for Isaiah Williams. One more time, Holmes on the coverage, and there to help out was Larry Williams. Seems to be okay. There was a question about his back, which was sprained last week coming into the game. He's been able to play pretty sparingly in a reserve role tonight, but it seems to be okay. So 4th down again for this Maryland offense.
There's your band, babe. It's your band.
On 4th and 4. Hollenbach flips it short. Oh, and in and out of the hands of the receiver. Nolan Carroll, one of the reserve pass catchers for Phrygian, dropped that one. The 45th pass attempt for Hollenbach. Ball's incomplete, and then the Mountaineers will take over with 2:57 to play.
Well, that's a tough thing for a freshman to come in. Hasn't had a ball thrown to him tonight, and we're asking him to come up and underneath the defense across the middle where for a young receiver for his first catch. Well,
you got to make that catch.
Yeah, he's got to make the catch, Chris, but he's thinking and looking up, waiting for a linebacker to take his head off.
These folks know it, the Maryland fans, although they won't make the long drive home as losers right on top of our promo. Slayton has been taken out of the game, and they hand it straight ahead. Bowling for nice yardage. They just keep trotting these backs out there. Is Schmidt, big 250-pounder. A Wrangler 5-star player of the game, who else but Steve Slayton. Didn't quite get the 200-yard game, picks up the 2 touchdowns.
He's at 195. He just saw Owen Schmidt pick up a big game. He said, hey, Coach, just one more carry. Just one more carry. We haven't, and that's another element to this offense that we haven't seen much of, is Owen Schmidt. I mean, you put his power running along with Pat White and Steve Slayton. They are, that's what really makes this offense even that much more diversified.
He's averaged more than 7 yards a carry in his 6 carries tonight. That's another nice game. Schmidt was the guy who wore down Maryland last year. He hammered away late in the game. Schmidt accounting for almost all of the yards on the clinching drive. They haven't needed to produce that kind of drive tonight, as the electric speed of Slayton and White gave him the big cushion.
Haven't needed him, but at some point when this offense is clicking, he's a great part of it. They a lot of times can put Owen Schmidt in the backfield together with Steve Slayton.
The loss by Texas last week left TCU with the longest active win streak in 1A, with the Mountaineers tied for second with the Ohio State University. Schmidt again fights forward near the first down at the 35-yard line, pushes the pile for the first down. See the power in this guy. He always runs like he has a point to prove. Rodriguez said every day is a holiday for Owen Schmidt. Just a great outlook on life. He's been through surgeries, he's been overlooked, walked on, earned a scholarship, and nice kid. Walked into the team dinner last night.
Give me five.
Oh, you want the 200-yard game?
Oh my God, he was at 2. Oh, they're coming in just for the victory. Want to remind people that the fun has just started. We're getting ready to flip over to ESPN News.
All right.
A little ESPN News Extra. Right.
Thank Marty Aronoff, our unparalleled statistician. Mike Black spotting up in the booth. You're a man down. Josh not here tonight, but good job out of you without your trusty spotter. Good effort, shorthanded. And a good effort for the Mountaineers. This was the national showcase game. Their biggest test so far, and they pass it with flying colors. The speed of Slayton and White, much too much for Maryland. Yeah, there's some questions on this team. 28 in the first quarter. They slowed down a bit as they go out to gingerly take down the goalpost. There'll be no bum rushing of the field to rip it down. This is how they do it here. You like this? An engineering enterprise? I mean, was this a big enough game to rip the goalpost down? I don't know. Not taking any chances. West Virginia and Rich Rodriguez can sit back and watch separation Saturday after a very satisfying thumping of a border rival in Maryland. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For Kirk Herbstreit and Aaron Anders, our entire football team on Thursday, I'm Chris Fowler. Sports Center with Stu and Steve Levy coming up now. Everything going right for the Mountaineers.
This is SportsCenter.
After an impressive Mountaineer victory, does West Virginia deserve a chance to move up in the ranking with the rest of the elite? Your chance to weigh in. What the Padres and Dodgers did today on the eve of their big NL West showdown this weekend. Plus, the world's top 2 players go down. What do Tiger Woods and Jim Furyk's losses mean to the U.S. Ryder Cup hopes?
What was he doing?
I'm not really sure. But they were speeding up these college football games, too, with these new rules. Hi, everybody. Welcome to SportsCenter with Stuart Scott. I'm Steve Levy. We'll update Ben Roethlisberger's status for ESPN's Monday Night Football in a bit. But first, you know, in college, the weekend starts on Thursday.
Yeah, but, you know, back in high school, Steve Slayton was given a scholarship to Maryland, and then they rescinded it. Basically like, yo, you know what, dog? We got other running backs. We don't need you. About tonight's game against Maryland, Slayton was not politically correct. He said, quote, I want to show them what they missed out on. Hopefully, every carry outscore. Number 5, West Virginia and Maryland. Slayton came in leading the nation in rushing. Here's why. Getting righteous in the first quarter. Second down, 38-yard touchdown down the sideline. Averaging 7.5 yards a carry coming in. Going out, he averaged 8 per. Ensuing drive, Pat White runs left. Pat White got an arm. He doesn't throw the ball much, but he finds Darius Raynaud for the 5-yard touchdown. Check it out. Marcus Wimbush and David Holloway. Holloway will go to the flat. Wimbush focuses on Pat White, leaving Raynaud wide open. White only 6 of 8, 44 yards in that touchdown. Mountaineers up 14-zip. Next drive, did I mention Steve Slayton? Slaying kids. This is a top play nominee. 37-yard touchdown. He had 21 carries on the night. West Virginia up 21-0. Later in the first down. Steve Slayton, stop it. I'm serious, man. Stop it. Young cousin. 52 yards down to the 2-yard line. Those 21 carries, 195 yards. Very next play, Steve Slayton actually fumbles. But this is when you know what's going right for you. He fumbles. Brad Palmer's teammate recovers in the end zone. West Virginia up 28-0. And in case that didn't let you know that everything's going right, how about this? Darius Raynaud fumbles the kickoff and picks it up. If that ain't number 1 in the top play nominee, I don't know what should be. Dude fumbles the kickoff in stride, picks it up, goes 96 yards, 98 yards for the touchdown. West Virginia goes on to win it 45-24. Maryland came on, made it a little bit competitive at the end, but not nearly enough. Mountaineers now 10-0 all-time when Slayton starts. West Virginia's 10th straight win, and that's second best run of the nation behind TCU. Slayton leads the nation in rushing, 503 yards. Speaking of Mr. Slayton, falling just short of his third career 200-yard rushing game, he had over 75% of his 195 yards tonight in the first quarter alone. Actually, I mentioned Steve Slayton leads the nation in rushing. He took over the lead before the end of the first quarter tonight. Those are his games, 195 and his 105 yards against Eastern Washington. That was done in just 1 quarter of action as well. All this leads to our question of the night: which team is the best in college football? Now, these are the rankings, all right? These are the top 5 teams, how they're ranked. But who do you think is the best? You saw with West Virginia, you saw how they held it down, did their business. Log on and vote the results later in the show.
Question of the night, brought to you by Chili's. Want to spice things up? Head on over to Chili's.